This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 800 for January 7th, 2024. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Alex.
There he is. Everyone's here except for Steve, who's coming later. And on today's episode, very special guest translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump and Manga Plus, Stephen Paul, is with us. How's it going, Stephen?
One Piece, good. I
Bold.
work with words for a living.
One Piece is good.
You don't need a million words if you can use 3.
We have our anime recap host for most of the 800 episodes, Sam Leach. Sam.
Guten Tag or Guten Nacht.
Trying that joke twice. Okay, that's fine. We also have our financial analyst and on the Grand Line and many other things, all the good things. We have Brodsky with us. How's it going, Brodsky?
Good evening. It's going pretty well. Good evening.
Yeah, despite the matching Oive mugs that we have, we're doing quite well.
I need it. It's necessary. I had to make sure it was clean before the show.
That's true. I on my teeth.
As yours kills you. This is why it's my show now.
So we're recording this episode live, if you can't tell by that. And we're doing it live on YouTube at youtube.com/One Piece Podcast. We're also raising money for the Trevor Project. The people, if you're watching on the live stream, you've already heard this once because we did a take that didn't take. And so if you want to check that out, subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button or whatever they say on YouTube. That's what, I don't know.
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash, that's, what else do they say? They say other things.
Open palm slam that subscribe button.
Ding the bell. Yeah.
I love that we're on YouTube and I'm making fun of YouTube, but we're on it. It's yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
you're gonna get flagged for that comment, Zach.
Oh no.
Demonetized.
Anyway, yeah, we're celebrating our 800th episode. Ed, can you believe specifically the two of us have been doing this for so long?
I mean, One Piece continues to be crazy good every week, so we have no reason to ever stop. One Piece could have fallen off a cliff, but it never did.
No, it keeps people keep rooting for that to all those people out there who are rooting for One Piece to fall off a cliff. But I'll say, like, watching the opening and the ending that we'll talk about later, the new ones that came out in the anime, it like made me realize, when we started the podcast was like, we were already a year in with the Brothers Cups thing with Sabo, Ace, and Luffy as kids and that whole backstory. I think that was 2010, 2011. That is like a generation ago or 2 generations ago in the One Piece fandom. So it's really nuts to think about. So today, double manga recap, double anime recap, pieced together, plus new music from Kirsten and her amazing band that needs a name. They do Throwaway is the name of her band. I don't know if she picked from her band or if these were just friends of hers.
And the Anchors, I think, would be a cool band name.
Yeah, that's good. We'll workshop that. Let's start getting that together here.
Before we're also Zach,
yes.
Sorry. Quick sidebar. I wanted to say that we've been doing this for 800 episodes, but I think it'd be kind of fun if we predicted at what episode we would end. And whoever is right gets to host an episode of the One Piece podcast.
Wait a second.
How many taiyaki is that word?
The other question, I mean, I think we got this question in a piece together or something, but the One Piece is coming also. So
we're boned.
We're screwed. We're doing this forever. I already have gray in my beard. I'm gonna have gray everywhere else by the time we get there. What was I going to say?
It will be the Sam Show.
It's just going to be called the Sam Show. It's going to be odd that it's called that, but
this was the long game.
That's a very long game, Sam.
So you don't understand how
we're One Piece fans.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. What were you going to say, Brodsky?
I was like, you don't understand how the long game is what it's truly all about. But I can't say it any better than, as they said it, we are One Piece fans. We are here.
Yeah, we're also, by the way, so you can watch this on youtube.com/One Piece Podcast. We're also on our Twitch channel. And since Donnie is in the background here, I don't want to make them come up out of the woodwork, but they basically run our Maji Media gaming stream. So please check that out. They're going to be doing some games directly after the show, which hopefully some of us will stick around for if we're up at 2 a.m. When we're done with this episode. But seriously, let's hope that happens before 2 a.m. Please check us out at Patreon. The QR code is there. Or patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. There's a cool thing I was talking about doing. And Sam, you could put me on the spot if you want about that. We were talking about it a little before the show. If you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't know.
No, the Ace Attorney thing that you wanted me to do.
Oh,
I was
You were
yeah,
serious?
it's like, well, I mean, it's the thing that the podcast.
What serious?
You know, those of us who are learned in the ways of Ace Attorney, we always thought it would be really funny to make Zach play through those
I
games.
would pay money to see that, honestly.
Well, that's what the Patreon is for. So we may do that this year. We'll see. I kind of want to, because I started watching the playthrough that Steve did, and I'm like, oh, I could be a really annoying person.
Oh no,
when
trust me.
Alex-
Zach,
But
when I
but
was-
some of the puzzles would be spoiled for you then if you keep watching that.
yeah, you
Can I
can't
pitch
Oh,
watch
a
so I
it.
title?
should stop. Okay. Yeah, Alex, go for it. Pitch the title.
Ace Attorney Zach Detective.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, we'll workshop.
Like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. That's the joke.
Oh, that went over my
Well,
head, and
Isn't the phrase Ace Detective like what? Isn't that like
Port
the root
Gusty Ace
of
Detective.
all these?
there it is.
Oh, I'm.
That's the.
And
Listen,
you
I
could
can't
begin
tell
every
you-
show by saying "alrighty then."
No, I'm not
Everybody
going to
will
do
love
that.
it. It's not a dated joke.
Playing Ace Attorney when you have lawyers in your family, and I go up to them and be like, "Is this like this?" And they're just like stare at me, like blink in the face, like, "No."
That's what Steve did to me for 15 years, however long I've known him now. I mean, actually, I wasn't a lawyer when I first met him. I was right out of school.
You're still studying law.
Anyway.
You had law brain. It's fine.
No, I was not studying law when I met him. I was out of college. Let's not talk about me in 2009, since everyone on this YouTube already, and probably on the podcast already, heard my voice from then. Why don't we talk about the manga? We're going to do chapter 1102, and then we're going to do chapter 1103. You all know what you're doing, right? Everyone in this room, this fake room that we're in here. Yes.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
maybe Donnie can set up a little not the ticker, but like the thing that says the names of everybody, the pages in a row. I think we've done that before on the live shows.
Yeah, if Donnie's up for it, I don't want to force, because I didn't put that together ahead of time, but go for it. But either way, let's put the manga recap music on. Let's hear that for the first time. This is the manga recap for chapter 1102 and 1103. We're going to start with 1102. There's the order for 1102. For those wondering, that's the order we're going to go in at the ticker. This is chapter 1102, Kuma's life. You can read this chapter and all chapters as soon as they come out for free, legally, worldwide, shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. Before we even get into this, I have to send my complaint in to the Shueisha complaint department. Stephen, I hope you could forward that tip for me. First of all, a chapter on Christmas Day. And I'm sure I know like Roger and some other YouTubers like actually like put in the effort. I'm Jewish. I don't care, but I can't make people do that. I feel like that's a lot. Why? And I know Stephen, you can't answer that. That's more of a general why to the.
You'd be a
Yeah.
Scrooge. Scrooge
Yeah.
McDuck.
Yeah, which I usually am.
Was
That's
it
a good
last-
title for it too.
Did
Um,
everybody
Last Christmas we did something, or
This one we did the shamisen thing for
Yeah.
Christmas, but that was ahead of time.
everybody in Japan was sitting in front of their monitors with their KFC and their strawberry cake, and they were reading their One Piece.
I mean, I'll also add I had no idea 1103 was coming out on Friday, just because I've been like unplugged in a way I guess I haven't been in a while. Yeah, that also completely took me by surprise. So I don't know. What is the Shueisha complaint department getting these days? Because I have some stuff to send in. Anyway, Ed, what's going on the cover page of 1102?
Well, Jewelry Bonnie has entered Hell's Department of Ironic Punishments, eating hot dog after hot dog, being painstakingly prepared by ravenous wolves. So, I mean, the wolf foreman here is very offended that she's eating the hot dogs. I guess they were for him.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're supposed to be for the wolves, I guess.
I mean, do wolves find hot dogs offensive?
Well, if they're not eating them.
They're called
I
hot
think
wolves, Sam.
Yeah, they're not exactly.
Wolves are
That's
dogs.
Jabra. That's Jabra.
The hottest wolf this side of Enius Lobby.
Yeah. What's Jabra's devil fruit?
The awooga
Dog. It is dog.
savory fruit.
Oh, it is a dog fruit. Why they're eating their own? Except that hot dogs aren't made of dogs.
Are they? But honestly, milk with hot dogs? Really?
Oh, yuck! Did you see that?
It's like how eating gingerbread men is offensive to humans.
Is it?
God,
Look, no,
I did not see that.
My father-in-law.
milk-
My father-in-law drinks milk with every meal, so this would not be. And he loves hot dogs, so that would not be. That's not foreign to me.
It's just
not
not the
the
right
right-
lubrication.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it for like?
We're
Okay,
gonna be kicked off of YouTube.
is it for if whatever Bonnie's putting in there spicy because you have the milk?
Yeah,
Looks
the milk is
good.
good for
Yes.
spice, but I feel like Bonnie, if
That's probably
anyone,
just ketchup.
probably
Yeah,
take
for
it.
anything.
Although she is 12, so I don't know, but she did eat a lot, so it could go either way. Anything else?
I love the
About
bug
this-
eyes. I love the bug eyes in that one wolf. He's just pointing like Leonardo DiCaprio in Once
Yeah,
Upon a
he's
Time
doing
in
the Leo
Hollywood.
point. Yeah.
That's
do
the one
love-
who ate the hot dog.
I do love they're called like ravenous wolves, but it's like the most like it's the most cleanest assembly line that is happening.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if you're new to our podcast and you want to follow along, again, it's free right now on shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. I know I said that already, but I want to just make sure that people are like, why are we not showing it on screen? I don't know what the etiquette is. That's not our etiquette. Ed, why don't you start the chapter off? Unless you have more wolf commentary here.
No,
Wolf
I'm
Blitzer
allowed a
commentary. Wolf. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, the adventures of the Bonnie pirates are continuing. So, yeah, this is it, Bonnie. Kumachi's got to be on this island. And don't call me that. Call me Captain. Fine, Captain. But watch out. The Navy's also on this. Listen up, Swabbies. Disembark! We're the dreaded Bonnie pirates. There's a fleet-wide order for their arrest. They've been leaving a trail of injured seniors and children in their wake.
That got me. That
That's
was
such a
so
good joke.
funny.
Yeah.
Only scum would do such a thing. What? And then I guess it's Bonnie running away from the Marines there, and
Meeting the children and old people.
a huge man. Sure, he was just on the outskirts of town. When we see Kuma as close as he gets, smiling, sort of looking over his shoulder at the fracas in the square there, and he just thinks to himself, "I'm sorry, Bonnie, I can't meet with you. Why did she have to become a pirate?" And he pops himself away with the paw power. Don't try to track me down. We get back.
Read my thoughts, daughter.
Back on the ship, Bonnie's like, "Why wasn't he there?" All angry and shit. Look, we're all pirates now, so let's take our time searching, Captain. Hey, in that case, I want to look for Nika too. That way, when we find Daddy, he'll be so excited when I tell him we saw Nika back at that island. Meanwhile, in the East Blue, after defeating Arlong and his crew of fishmen pirates, Monkey Luffy has a bounty of 30 million berries, and Usopp pops out in the background.
As he always does.
As he does, yeah.
I wonder if that's like a specific reference to the haunted poster there that he pops up at the same place.
The name Straw Hat Luffy becomes known to the public at large. Woohoo! We're wanted dead or alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, this and the subsequent scenes that we're going to see are pretty much all taken from earlier scenes of the manga. Although, fun fact, because I was looking these things up, what Luffy says here is not a quote from the old. Actually, I took the quote, but it was like he just said like I've got a bounty or something like that, or like we're wanted. So Oda will kind of bend his rules from time to time, I guess.
Well, this is funnier, to be fair.
Yeah.
Dead
Time to time.
or alive, I guess.
This is the panel immediately after what we saw in the original scene.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's a different angle from. I think Nami is also somewhere behind him, and Sanji. You could see the cigarette smoke.
Yes, you can see Sanji.
Yeah.
And on the next page, we have Sabo who says, "Rogue Town. Why go there? Stop throwing your tomatoes at me."
Rogue Town. I hardly know her.
And Dragon asks,
Log
well, who oversees that area? Captain Smoker. And so this is clearly setting up the little showdown between Dragon and Smoker that we saw in chapter 101. Was that it? Something like that. Speaking of 100 milestones. And then we see Ace talking with Jinbei, and he's flipping the little poster back and forth. He's like, Jinbei, do you know whose little brother this is? And Jinbei's like, he's defeated Arlong's crew, this boy. And completely ignoring Ace's question. And he says, the answer is mine. He's my brother. So, yes, still a doting brother on his little bro. And then Kuma is reacting here, and he's got two pieces of paper as he says, what a strange twist of fate, Dragon. Both of our children are pirates. And then we see Bonnie is leading her crew once again as she gives them the mission statement. These are the ironclad laws of piratey behavior. Steal whatever you want from bad guys. They're like, steal. Don't help other people unless they need it. Don't help. So
It's literally the opposite of not helping people.
yeah. And then I love this. Gyogyo here is clearly very faded and is like, yeah, why not? I'm pretty sure that's how you apply lipstick. And so we see Bonnie with her iconic little dot lipstick application.
Doesn't Big Mom have a similar style?
She kind of does, yeah. I think
Big Mom's just got a big face, though.
Yeah.
Hold on.
She has a big everything.
It's
She's
a
Big
normal
Mom.
amount of lipstick. So.
You may say she's big.
Pink hair, same lipstick.
There's a connection.
all you need.
somewhere.
Oh, it's Big Mom. Bonnie's Big Mom. Okay.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
the father.
this
Sam's
is a good
connecting-
time to remind.
Sam is connecting the dots.
This is a good time to remind everyone of the Bonnie is blank, the theory that existed on the internet for 5 to 10 years. I feel like Bonnie's Luffy's mom. Bonnie's Big
Mercifully-
Mom's daughter. Whatever.
Mercifully buried now.
Yeah. And notice Kuma's hair, not the same color as Bonnie's.
Mhm.
Yeah. This was also the page from Jump Festa,
Oh.
right? I didn't, since we're already interrupting.
Oh, you're right. Yes, it was. There was the preview page that they showed off in Jump Festa.
Yeah.
And so Bonnie has her little dot lipstick, and she's got her eye ring, whatever you want to call it. And she's like, "Yes, I'm all grown up. This is here on my cheek, so Daddy can recognize it's me. All that's left is to get famous. Then he'll definitely know." So the quest continues for Bonnie to find Kuma. And there he is, right there in Egghead in the New World. And he's got the here's the prestige. Here's all the clones in the tubes. Sorry, spoiler for a 20-year-old movie or whatever.
I saw that movie 20 years ago. I forgot that's how it ended. I just remember the ending being like, what?
Yes. And that's what Kuma's reaction is here. He's like, oh, this is eerie. And Vegapunk says, I'm not surprised. They're proceeding well, just like your augmentation. Anyway, did you hear that story the other day about the boy who declared war on the world government? Or sorry, that was Kuma. as Vegapunk reacts, what? And he's thinking to himself, he's Dragon's son? And Kuma is whispering, I might as well tell you now. You'll see all my memories eventually. So I guess they're doing this probably to avoid the microphones or the camera or however the world government is monitoring the lab here. They're whispering to each other. Through some trick of fate, it's a man who challenges the government with the power of rubber, almost like Nika, the figure I admire so much, says Kuma. Indeed, says Vegapunk. And here we are on Thriller Bark at the Grand Line, where we are being treated to a different angle on a scene that we definitely saw before. Where Kuma says, "Orders are orders. I am tasked with killing your entire crew, but I will spare all of you in exchange for the head of Straw Hat Luffy. The government will be satisfied with that." And this is a long shot, and then we see the crew reacting, which was originally like an entire page panel, I believe, but now it is just a tiny little panel in the corner where they're all going "Never!"
And then we turn the page, and Kuma responds in turn, "What a shame." Ursa shock, and then the big paw balloon blows everybody away. He's having his classic stare down with Roronoa Zoro, who's saying, "Luffy is the man who will become king of the pirates." And then Kuma says, "Well, if you're truly taking his place, then you must accept his agony." And does what he did previously, poofs out the pain from Luffy's body, but in his head here we're learning he's telling himself, "Yeah, I would probably pass out from this one," or just like the exerting his Luffy's pain out of his body is not like easy for Kuma.
Yeah,
so
I think he's referring to if he took it the way that Zoro did.
I see.
Specifically, yeah,
I see. Yeah, I wasn't sure how to read that. And then you got Zoro's kind of determined face. The scene kind of fades and transitions. We know what happens after this, but it is not relevant to Kuma's story. So we're off to Kuma on the tip of Thriller Bark, kind of talking to himself about Luffy. He's like, "You have exceptional friends. He's your son, after all, Dragon." And then nearby,
I think I know that last line at least was in the.
Yes, that's all.
But that's supposed to be like, why does Kuma know Dragon if he's a warlord? Yeah. Go ahead, sorry, Sam.
And then near Sabo Archipelago, we're hearing some government official talking to Kuma on the phone, like, "It's mandatory summons of the 7 warlords. Refusing will cost you your title." And Kuma's just like, "Don't be dramatic. What's this about?" I imagine the agent's just like at a loss at that point. It's like, there's a public execution of a bannerman of the new era, Porcus Dies, and that means one thing is certain. There will be a war with the Whitebeard pirates. And then Kuma's thinking, "A war with Whitebeard? I will be there the day of the execution." He's putting on his serious voice again. Sabo Archipelago. "Aren't my seconds here yet? I'm going to run out of food." And this is, Bonnie's scene in the restaurant, kicking her legs on the table. More pizza. Bigger.
Sloppier.
The scene continues. We zoom outside the restaurant, and we sort of see Kuma inconspicuously sneaking over to peek inside the window. Huge cloaked figure.
That's that Conan gif. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
I was gonna say like Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve. Steve Yurko's here.
Hey, everybody, I'm here. What episode number is this?
8
752.
Yeah.
Not answering that.
We're gonna call it something with like TION at the end. We still do that?
No, we don't. Okay, no. I'm not even getting into that now.
All right. Well, what about steak or salad?
Sore spot?
We're not calling it steak or salad. We're calling this shot through the heart. Everyone knows that's what the episode title is going to be.
GT.
Well, kiss it goodbye.
That's the old Dragon Ball Z website.
All right. Anyways,
No.
Kuma's here. He's sneaking. He's here all along outside the restaurant, peeking in. And you hear the crew go, "Captain, if you make too much noise, the Navy will come." And we see the other side of the window that Kuma's peeking on, and he's disrupting two old seniors who are completely shocked at his appearance. And he says, "I guess this is farewell. Just look at what a rugged pirate you've become, Bonnie." And we see a brief respite of from Bonnie's, yammering on. Looks like she finally got her seconds, and she's pretty happy looking. Meanwhile, there's some ruckus happening behind Kuma. It's at the human auction. Remember this? We hear, "The pirates attacked the celestial dragons. A battleship is coming from Navy headquarters." And Kuma notices that it's coming from the human shop. He makes haste and lands on the roof and goes, "Who is it? What did they do to the celestial dragons? It is a taboo of the highest order. We're close to Navy HQ. It's suicide to attack one here." And as he peeks through, he says, "Them again, the Straw Hat Crew." And we see a bird's eye view of the auction house. Kami's fishbowl is cleaved in half, and we see a commotion, bodies everywhere, and people running around. Saint Charlos has that famous fist imprint in his face. Zoro and Sanji are ready to attack. Hachi's there, and he goes, "Nyur," and we
He was
see
shot.
Luffy's got a he's "I've been shot." And Luffy looks pretty battle ready. Kuma thinks to himself, was he protecting a fish man? Look, Straw Hat, that's an act of high treason, the likes of which no one has accomplished in many centuries. And we see sort of the events of what occurred in that chapter. Usopp
falling on what's
Saint
his name again?
Saint Roswald.
Griswold? Roswald. Okay.
Yeah, Clark Griswold's head.
We see Oda here forgetting how to draw a cowboy hat.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing, actually. This is why
it looks kind of wonky there.
This is why Robin doesn't wear cowboy hats anymore. I almost
someone
feel,
sat on it.
Yeah, I almost feel like he drew this after the fact. Like he's like, "Oh crap, she's wearing a cowboy hat. I better,
you might
better use.
be wrong.
I better use AI to
Oh God.
Yeah, to plop one in here.
I'll write a song too.
Yeah. So we see Brooke is taking out a few holy knights. And Nami's got, she's got a weird look on her worried look on her face. Frankie's laughing because it is funny. And Chopper is running around, and we see Shadakuma as we go to the next page.
And I'll say before we go to the next page, we often talk about the big moment in Shabadi being when Luffy punches St. Charlos, but the real moment is when Usopp's butt just goes straight into that guy. That's when war were declared on the world government.
That's a powerful ass on Usopp there.
It's got a really nice strong.
Did someone choke? Is that you, Brodsky?
Did you know Brodsky didn't choke?
Did you choke on a drink or something? I don't know.
No, Zach did.
Well, yeah, that was earlier, but that was about something else.
St.
It was about
Roswald is
Wilson
choking
hot
on
dog.
Usopp's ass, is what that was.
That's what we're trying to say. Is that the episode title for 800?
Assop. Who said that in the
Assop.
This,
Yeah, there
this
it is.
beautiful, beautiful backstory, and we're just gonna Usopp.
Gonna call it Assop. That feels like it's in our repertoire.
I like it.
Thank you. Let's workshop that. Now we're heading over to just a few maybe hours later, where the pacifistas are wreaking havoc on the Straw Hats. For those that remember the Shabadi Archipelago arc, which was going on in the anime when we first started this podcast. And you have an internal monologue going throughout from Kuma, but I'll describe the events first so as not to interrupt things. So what's going on here is we have the real Kuma coming in and telling PX1, the pacifista, to stop. And the Straw Hats are freaked out and poof Zoro away. Luffy's doing that freak out moment. Kizaru's doing the now this is going to be difficult face, which is his face. Sentomaru has that resting Sentomaru face, and Rayleigh looks pensive. Yeah, let's go with that. And you have that gif you also see of Luffy pounding his fist on the ground when everything is lost. The new thing we see is Luffy's tear-ridden face as he is popped off to Amazon Lily. The dialogue going through this is Kuma. I don't know. Kuma has like a kind of higher pitch voice, right? Dragon, Eva, please forgive me. This is just my normal voice. For vanishing without a word, I will leave behind the mark of my existence in Bonnie and the future of this boy. And as Luffy says, I couldn't save any of them. Kuma says, that is not true. This is just the level of the new world. It is too soon for the likes of your crew. Don't come here yet. One day in the future, you will be the man who saves the world. And we head to Egghead.
2 years later, he says, "You're the man now, dog." I'm sorry.
I'll write it down.
No, it's taken.
The sad way that you said that.
Anyway, we go to Egghead during, I assume simultaneously, as Vegapunk is like, a self. Why do I even try a self-destruct switch? I don't know what the fuck that is. How afraid of Kuma are any of you anyway? I tried anyway. And Saturn on the other end saying, you're the one who turned him into a terrifying weapon. And Vegapunk saying, but you're at the very top of the higher authority hierarchy. I don't know why I try. I still do. But if he goes out, Saturn explaining himself, if he goes out of control beyond the range of receiving commands, who'll stop him? What am I supposed to do here? Was that you, Steve?
That's what you don't. That's what something you're not supposed to do.
And we're
Was
back.
that you, Steve?
Which sound was that? Because I can never hear it.
That was the funky music button you pressed. You pressed the funky.
I guess I must dance.
This is the time
Is
I
that,
gets in which feet down.
There you go.
Do we all have
That's what I
a
was
funky
thinking.
music button?
No, we all have a funky
like
music
much
button.
The-
Do
you
not
have the
press
Zoom,
it.
yeah.
Do not press
What
it.
is
Play that funky music.
Don't try and find it.
I just need to know where it is so I don't hit it on accident.
Alex has his own buttons, and that's Sanji laughing. One of my favorite.
Jesus.
I've
You guys are
lost
giving Donnie
control.
heart attacks.
Yeah, you're giving me a heart.
I'm sure everything was running nice and smooth once you guys got things figured out, and here I am.
I wish that you did that when it was like, I mean, this entire episode or chapter is fucking depressing. Also, it's like,
Boop, boop,
funky.
boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I wish that happened during that like really impassioned
Oh my
speech from
God.
Kuma, inner monologue from Kuma. That would have been.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Vegapunk and Saturn were talking over the. I didn't even mention Saturn's transponder snail, which we've seen before, but wow. And he says who'll stop him if it's beyond my range. That's why we need to add a self-destruct switch in Kuma. And Saturn says, don't argue with me about this. You're just a lowly hired scientist. And so Vegapunk asks for a deal. In exchange for doing that, little quid pro quo here, let me retain a little willpower for him. I've just invented a neural pathway that can switch between mental states like dual personalities. He'll have his own schizophrenia. It'll be great. If you'll just let me test it on him. And Brodsky, what happens next?
Saturn going, I gave you an order, Vegapunk. And it's just a really nice shot of Egghead Island. Continuing more with, the very cheerful Saturn. You will not leave him any free will. I, too, am a scientist. You cannot deceive me. And I will not attempt Vegapunk's voice. I am so sorry.
But this is a problem for
Right,
You
everyone
sound like
here.
he's from Chicago, Brodsky.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Is there vowels in there? It's just like Kuma. No, it's not even. The
You
same.
don't have
No,
to even
no,
fake
no.
it. Your voice usually.
Kuma.
Yeah. Kuma. Da Bears.
There you go. Just center yourself with the Bears. The Bears.
Kuma going, but then Kuma and Bonnie, they'll never meet again. And then you see Kuma start just being probably the most like chill and calmest person that I've ever
That's him.
read ever. Just saying, I'm just happy that you thought of me, Vegapunk. It's like, huh? You shouldn't have heard that. And who is it that gave me sonic hearing? As a jab at Vegapunk. Well, here we are, Kuma. This is the day I flip the switch. It's been a long 2 years, but I've enjoyed them
Don't
with
play
you.
the funky music, Steve.
We need like sad music to go. Steve, put your hands up.
There it is. There's the sad
Yeah.
music, Alex.
I didn't know what button that was.
And you
It's
have
a new
like-
type, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have just Vegapunk just laughing like, haha, me too. All right. And then we still have Vegapunk kind of, slowly doing what he needs to. Is like, your first mission seems like it'll involve fighting against the Whitebeard pirates. They've ordered a mass deployment of clone soldiers. Kuma kind of just is honestly still chilling. After that is done, I'd like you to program a mission into me. You want to stand guard over the Straw Hat ship? I would like to protect their home until one of the crew returns to it. Even though I won't be around to witness their growth. I just love that because like it's something like we always kind of like wondered, and then
Yeah, this was a big
finally
one.
seeing how
Yeah.
everything come through. Vegapunk saying, kind of like still looking questionable, like, what pipe dreams do you see in this boy? Kuma again, I'm gonna cry when this is animated.
You could do it.
Honestly, I cannot. This entire arc is gonna kill me. Something in his action shakes the very core of my being. Nika only is a legend, but I instilled into Bonnie the stories of a warrior who rides the rhythm of liberation and brings smiles to all. If there is a hero who will bring a great transformation to the sea, ...
Steven.
I think it must be him, Kuma says. And Vegapunk remarks, a revolutionary making a bet on a pirate. Quite the dark horse you've chosen. Pip, pip, pip. But that contradiction is proof of your humanity. Now, time to provide me with my material for scientific research. We had a deal. As we see that this is referring to the big paw that Kuma created that we saw previously, much further in time, in the present day, in the paw room. And Vegapunk is asking him, once you admit that, do the memories in your mind vanish? And Kuma says, no, it's more like a copy, but it will vanish once touched. And Vegapunk says, not to worry, I've built a system that will allow me to see inside without contact. Place it over there, which is kind of a weird thing to say because he literally just asked him, like, how does this thing work? And then he's like, well, I've already got a machine for that.
I thought ahead already.
The Steve Jobs of One Piece world. There's a machine for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, place it over there. This will be quick. It's a clean clinical process. I'm a scientist. So he's reassuring.
Sorry.
Who's he trying to convince here?
Yeah.
Himself.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm a scientist. I can do this. It's just an entire man's life in a paw.
It's like-
I could do this.
If you gotta keep saying it, you're psyching yourself up.
And
He
Or
also
hyping yourself
went to
up.
upstairs science college.
and so Kuma here, ever humble.
He is
said,
the
"Well,
smartest man in the world. You guys know that, right?
No,
Yeah.
what?
No, was it the highest IQ is Ben Beckman, followed by no.
Right.
That was
Wasn't
Ben
it?
We're gonna spend the next 40 minutes trying to like.
You didn't say Marco? He's a doctor, Brodsky. Like you actually could have said
He's not
Marco
al-
there.
But this is what
Who the
Elodie
hell
was
is
referring
Ben
to.
Beckman into
was
this?
East Blue. That was like
Smarty.
East Blue members, like in the.
I don't love
in the
my men
early
smart,
SBS.
Zach.
All right.
Vegapunk isn't your crush.
No.
Sorry, go
All
ahead, Steven.
Let's get
Got
through
it.
this. We can do it. So yes, Kuma says, so that's my life. How much of a nuisance was I in the end? You know, it's of course very humble, self-effacing thing to say. And Vegapunk replies, well, what is life but being a series of nuisances? As boom, you know, we see the I guess this is the little flashback and that we're getting zoomed through here. And here we go. Here's the page that launched 1,000 tears. It's the you know the light at the tunnel, the light flashing before his eyes. So we get this really incredible sequence of panels here that are intercutting Kuma through different phases of his life, and then kind of very last episode of Evangelion style. You know, all the people looking him right in the face and talking to him. So we have Kuma as a baby where he's going, wah, wah, and he's in his father Clap's hands as his mother is sitting down there with him. And we see both of them smiling at him and they're going, Kuma. And then we see young Kuma, the one that we saw on God Valley with the collar on, and he is running. He's running, huff, 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 and he's you know, he's hunched over. And got the bent limbs and everything. It is very similar to that sort of Nika style silhouette. And then we see young Ivankov, whom we saw at that same time. He's going Kuma, and then there's young Ginny as well in her little ragamuffin clothes saying Kumachi. And then we get to see Kuma as a young adult, where he's the pastor, and he's got the shawl, this whatever the pastor's garment is, and he is running again, huff, 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 as he's breathing. And then we get some other folks like a younger dragon before his face tattoo, and then Gyogyo and one of these guys. What are the other guys' names? Tots and Potato. He's like, this one's either Tots or Potato.
I think you're right. Tato. I think it's just Tato, right?
Was
No,
he
it's
Irish?
Tots and Potato, yeah. And they're going Kuma, and then we see grown-up Ginny, where she's again going Kumachi, and she's got her you know, her revolutionary goggles on, so you can tell this would have been like in between, you know, revolutionary assignments or whatever, kind of like how we saw her in that period of time. And then this is where it really gets interesting, because then you see adult Kuma, and now he's still running, but he's like doubling over in pain. He's going and is you know, really struggling. You get the little silent bubble with the exclamation points, and then you see little baby Bonnie, and she's going daddy and holding up her hands toward him, and then Kuma is running. He's got his classic, you know, sort of Target jacket on, the look that we associate with him. But interestingly, this panel, after you see Bonnie, this is the panel where he is the most upright. So it's sort of like he's recovering from the pain of losing Ginny. Yeah. He's like, okay, I got to keep it together here. And so now he's fully upright as he's running. And lastly, we get a shot of Vegapunk where he says, she'll survive. And then you hear Kuma saying, oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. As he runs off into the horizon at the end of this page.
He turns into a pillar of salt, basically. He appears to be dissolving.
Steve, you could round up the chapter.
Just gotta unmute and not press the funky button. Okay. Let's get serious here.
This
This is the time. Yeah, just
Let's give this some respect and some decorum here. We have Vegapunk now. We're, you know, revert. You know, we go from we see it from, you know, from the point of view of the lever, and we see he's bawling at this point. And he says, "Your death is a nuisance to every person who's ever known you and loved you." And he said, "Listen to me, Kuma, and listen good. You are a hero." Sorry, I'm making him kind of Jewish now.
Einstein was Jewish, so it's
yeah,
fine.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm making him sound more like yogurt. But,
Jackie Mason.
Yeah. He says, "To Bonnie and to us all." And Kuma just taking it in stride with just smile on his face, and he says, "Thank you. Say Vegapunk." And this is Vegapunk has pulled the lever down. It's the right lever. He says, "Yes, I already know." And we just go around. And this is Egghead. We see this is Egghead.
Mhm.
You know, because we got some futuristic people here. Goggles. That's always futuristic. They're praying as we see like these strong rays of sunlight beaming down. We have Satomaru. He's like he's doing the fist thing. He's doing the similar thing that Dragon did earlier on in this flashback.
This is the Iron Man funeral scene for Sentomaru.
But the thing is, though, everyone wants to keep watching One Piece, so it's kind of like the reverse. Yeah, I don't know. No one's going to see them. And Vegapunk is bawling, and he falls to his knees, just wailing after pulling this lever. And I'll go back to what this is Kuma's dialogue. Here it says, "Thank you for saving Bonnie." And we have this wide shot of Egghead. The clouds are kind of parting as the sun shines down, but then just this as his eyes light up. Gone is the human, you know, the soul that we knew, and now it's just nothing. It's just an empty shell, and just he's just all robot now. He's more machine now than man, unfortunately.
Twisted and evil.
But yeah, well, I don't know, just not evil, just you know,
Just not good.
You said the thing, so I had to say the thing. I'm contractually obligated by Disney.
That's true.
Did you know my father?
He was a great
But
pilot and a great friend.
He was a great priest, a great friend. But I'll read this all again. He says, "Thank you for saving Bonnie. If you should see Bonnie, would you pass on a message from me? Tell her I wish her a very happy 10th birthday." And we're back now in the Paul room, whatever it was called, the chamber. We're back. We're coming back to the present. Bonnie bawling her eyes out. Yeah, might as well call her Bally. God, I can't handle a serious page, can I? But she's crying. We're crying. And that's the end of the chapter.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Woke up Christmas Eve morning, like, oh boy, Shonen Jump.
Nice relaxing Shonen Jump chapter. I'm gonna read through.
Also, I see in the chat saying thank you for loving me. I see you. I'm mad at you.
I wonder if that was on. No, that wasn't Christmas. That was January or February, I think. That'll do it for chapter 1102. We're going to do 1103 in a moment. But before that, I think we should discuss this chapter. I think it deserves a little bit of discussion at the very least. Steven, can I start with you?
Yeah. It's very rare that even when I'm like working on chapters and I'm kind of trying, I'm always trying. You remember like when Oda would say, like when he draws the chapters, like he has to like make the faces in order to like channel the emotions. And there's definitely there's some truth to that of like when I'm working on it too, because you're trying to like aim for the emotional impact and to try to get in touch with those feelings to gauge like where you're at with the text while you're working on it. And but even still, like I don't usually get like really emotional, but reading this chapter, especially the sort of montage page that I did of Kuma running, definitely like I got choked up reading it, and it was incredibly very, very powerful. it's funny because there's so many cool, Easter eggs and stuff in the first half of the chapter, seeing all these scenes that we've seen before from a different perspective, not just, artistically, but also like from Kuma's perspective. We know a lot more about what's going through his head at these moments, that it makes a lot more sense in context. And that's cool and all, but it's also kind of reiterating stuff that we mostly knew already. But like the last couple of pages where he really brings it home emotionally, I think they're incredibly powerful. And for as creative as Oda is, and for as interesting as the stuff he can do, he is pretty straightforward, I think, with like his presentation of the manga. And he's not gonna like do some really wildly experimental paneling. He has a formula that he likes to use and he feels very comfortable, and I think he tries to keep it within those boundaries. But the montage scene of Kuma getting older, and then the different stages of his life, and the people that he knew, felt like it was a different thing, like it was a new thing that Oda was doing, and I thought it was like just really powerful, like very unexpected, but it was absolutely, it fit the gravity of the moment of having seen this. And it just makes him such a rich character to see, even to the last moment when we get to see him asking Vegapunk, like, oh, I want to protect the Straw Hats ship, which that might be a little bit of a, like, not a plot hole, but it might strain credulity that like the government does all this stuff with him, and then he's just like, okay, I'm just going to be over here for 2 years, like not doing anything for you. I don't know if that really would have worked out realistically, but in terms of connecting the dots in the story, I think it's pretty cool to see how that came together to happen. But I don't want to take up too much time for other folks, so I'll leave it there.
Brodsky.
Again, this chapter definitely hit like a fucking wall. It was just like seeing kind of essentially like a small recap of all of One Piece, in a way, and like how Kuma has like been there the entire time. But the one thing that like is my new favorite line, I think, of all of One Piece, or for a new like a quote, because I was talking about this, my friend, is, well, what is life but being a series of nuisances? And it's like, I love that so much. I cannot explain. And so it just, and I agree too with Steven too. Like my other favorite page literally is the one of Kuma growing and running, and like it just, I don't know if I can even put into words how much I loved this chapter. Just the pain of everything, and like finally just seeing it, and like it, part of you always feels like, oh, we're gonna get this will be it. We'll move on to like the present, but then we all know the next chapter as well. And I'm just like, I'm very tired of crying over Kuma, because I feel like it's been months now, and I'm just like, I cannot take it anymore. But it's definitely given me a different appreciation of his character and just the struggle and everything he's going through. And I want a happy ending, and I won't get it. I know that.
Hey, we don't know that yet, but probably. We'll see. Anything else, Brodsky? Or
No.
Sam?
Yeah, I was very moved by the chapter. Like a lot of the Kuma flashback kind of blurs together in my mind. Like it doesn't feel like right, or it's almost like we're blowing past like so many things that it's like hard to feel it as a narrative by itself. But like the ending, like really landed. And Kuma is just like a kind of he's a character archetype that really gets me very easily, which is that kind of person who will let themselves get hurt, and it almost seems like they have like they would have, you would consider them to have like almost a naive selflessness to them if it weren't for the fact that they were so strong and that they were so kind of lucid in their choice to just sort of like give at their own expense like that. So, and just like the kind of the potency of like Kuma having this almost like childlike admiration for Nika that he believes in, like you would believe in a god, and we're watching him like kind of, he's not going to see that future. Is like kind of the really tragic thing is like he's giving this life to the future for future generations, and he's very just like kind of confident in his own choice there. And like I'm really surprisingly moved by Vegapunk. Like Vegapunk's like sobbing face at the end, or like the profile panel of him on the ground on his knees wailing is really interesting, and just like seeing how it all kind of like hits Bonnie, who kind of went into the bubble like kind of just like I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I'm like there's a stubbornness to it. There's a indignation to it that she comes out the other end like really understanding it all, right?
I'll say that last page is very much like it's nothing but Ghibli tears, and I think that's what
and like
it hurts too.
What Steven was saying about Oda making the fit. Like I always think about this quote that Oda says, and I don't know like how literally true it would be feasibly all the time, but he did say at one point like, oh, I can't I have to keep drawing a crying face over and over again until it actually makes me cry, or else the audience will feel the emotion.
I think with VV, I remember he said something.
I think
like
there's got to be cases where like that's not really true, but this is one where it's like, okay, Oda is a father. Like whatever his relationship with his kid is, there's been lots of like parent-child stories in One Piece for the past few arcs. Like this feels like something he means, even if it's like in an abstract way that the audience isn't necessarily privy to the context of.
It raises an interesting question I wanted to ask. Like, at what point in One Piece did Oda's writing about parents go from writing from a child's perspective about parents to writing from a parent's perspective? I mean,
before Dressrosa, I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, the Kiro story, we all thought it was going to be from Rebecca's perspective.
Yeah,
I mean, that kind of is maybe like one of those turning points, but it is about a father's like journey through of self-acceptance.
Well, I mean, and with Marineford, I guess Ace was, Ace being the child thinking about his father. So,
not to psychoanalyze Oda too much. I think
that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do, nerds.
Yeah.
But thinking, you brought up Dressrosa, and of course, like he was a family man by then. But I think, when you think about it now, that's a little bit of like a different time. Like maybe like his outlook on parenthood was a little bit different. Like, I got to be super protective of my kids, because they were much younger. And I don't know, kids. I don't know if you're all aware of this. Kids grow up. So this kind of feels like
this is not good.
Like a
coming
of age kind of story for with a father's child. So more so than the Rebecca one.
Do you think that? I mean, if as long as we're psychoanalyzing Oda, do you think there's some sort of some sort of analog here where there's some absentee father stuff going on?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I figure. Like, Film Red would have to be about in large ways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much input Oda had on Film Red specifically, but I think we talked about it.
Films.
It is. But that doesn't. He wrote Strong World, but I think he consulted.
I assume like if it's a film, like it's like, oh, this, he's putting something of himself in there. Like this says something about One Piece. This is an artistic extension of One Piece.
I agree.
I mean, with Red, it's just if you have Shank's crew in there's always going to be this absentee.
To be fair, though, Red is more about the kid's perspective in that relationship, and learning about how she reconciles the parent perspective.
It's a
But
hell
it's
of a
also- it's
theory.
also like-
one, you know, I'm interested in that kind of stuff, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I kind of have to, you know, give my respects to, yeah, not to cut, Sam, please continue right after this, but I think it's like, I don't want to pry in that too much because Oda's already a very private guy. So,
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
wanna
stop
dig
using
into
his
that too
photo,
much.
everyone on the internet.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, too late for that.
I still have not seen it, and I'm gonna keep it that way.
Sam, yeah,
you
you
were
could
saying?
continue. Yeah.
That's most of what I want to say.
Okay.
Steve, since you were talking, go for it.
Okay. Right off the bat, this is the first manga chapter that I could recall in God knows when that I actually got visibly sad over. Like I got tears. I was really blown away. Merry Christmas. But I'll just start off with like the ending, like that sequence of Kuma through you know, the ages running. That almost feels like an anime trope. I feel like I would see that in an anime more than I would see that in a manga. So for him to find, because we've talked about the pacing of this flashback before, but for him to dedicate one page to that when it was kind of unnecessary. Usually, like, it's like you've already read that chapter probably, like, you know, recently, so you don't need to see all these like scenes again. But the fact that he took the time to put that in there is really what sold this scene. That's when it started hitting, and I'm like, this is, and I could tell this is exactly, I knew what he was going for, and I like kind of like the positioning of Bonnie on this page, because we start with the younger version of her on that right side, and then when you go to the next row of panels, it's the older version of her. This chapter was a triumph. I think this flashback was a triumph. Here or there, like I know sometimes it kind of felt like it almost kind of, it's a holiday, so just play a best of compilation of One Piece. But I think, you know, if you've been reading the series, been with the series for this long, you kind of like going back and seeing this stuff and seeing it redrawn. But it's kind of cool, like knowing like Kuma was always there, and not in the terrible way, kind of like, oh, I orchestrated everything. You know, it's not like an Aizen and Bleach thing.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Mhm. I just like how kind of he was there to witness some of this stuff. And kind of just, yeah, and because he showed up at the Shimondi and kind of no one really knew why. So I kind of like seeing like what he was there for. It's so sad. It's just really sad that how this guy got manipulated, and he knew, like he wasn't like, oh, they betrayed me. He was putting his daughter first, and that's when it hits really hard. And all he cared about was just her, you know, living well. Well, he was duped in, you know, we'll find out a little bit more in our next manga recap, but it's tragic. I mean, that's a One Piece backstory for you. That's what we come here for. We love the further character development. We love the callbacks, but we also like we want the heartbreak.
I think
we want to
Kuma
feel.
can take Kuma takes the throne for the saddest backstory in One Piece.
Ooh,
I don't know about that.
I don't know
that's a
either,
tough
yeah.
one.
That's
tough.
tough competition.
I think I need a little distance from it before I could judge that for sure.
I can't wait to have our reverie of when we decide which is the saddest backstory.
That's gonna happen.
I
We
mean,
did
like
that,
I've always
years
thought
ago.
Lost, so I'm just like, I
Maybe
don't know.
Robin's isn't as sad in retrospect, but Nami's is.
But
Yeah,
and the anime also did a lot of that for Robin for me. Sorry, Stephen, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think for me right now, it's a toss up between this and Law for post time skip best.
Post time skip.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not that
Of
many
the post time
but
skips.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
those two I think are far and away
Yeah.
better than the other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, the other.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I mean, Odin, I think still kind of
That's-
tops for me for the
Oh,
post-time
Odin,
skip,
yeah.
just because that one was such an adventure.
I mean, it was really fun.
It was
Like,
just too long.
Yeah.
Buckle some swash.
I I thought I agree with Steve actually. I mean, it was long, but I think that's a week to week thing. I think if you read it, and much like the Nolan Kagura, which I'm sure was torturous week to week, but it's such a great story on its own. Just marathoning through it. Yeah.
If just like, the reason why I think like Kuma is just like it's so tragic. I think it's like what Steve had said. It's like he accepted it from the very beginning. Like it's just this is how it is. Like it's ready to essentially die, give up his humanity, give up everything, and just do it with a smile on his face. And to me, that just hurts. I think just to see.
Yeah.
I think something that always kind of I think messes me up is kind of getting that message, like it's the tragically like the too late message of, you know, they're not there to deliver it, or you wish you heard it from them,
Right.
but it never got across. Like that stuff always kills me. And that's what was going on here too. And then there's some stuff I realized like it's probably better to talk about in the next chapter, but this was just like I said, the fact that it got me very teary, I can't help but just like, you know, tip my hat to Oda. This was a really good one.
Alex.
And like I guess
And now someone who didn't cry during this chapter. I sure wanted to. I've cried during this comic before. So I'll preface it by saying I wish this got me because, you know, it's a killer flashback. It's a killer chapter. It's like he stuck the landing. I think it's a masterpiece. I do think that because we know, like, and we knew going in what was going to happen to Kuma at the end, it didn't hit me the way I wanted it to hit, if that makes sense. And I mentioned this, like, okay, so the first time I read this, this chapter hit better for me the second time I read it, and I kind of took my time through it a little bit more. But the end here where Vegapunk is like saying, like, because Vegapunk has said throughout this chapter, throughout the flashback, Kuma, you're a good person. You're the best person in the whole world. And I think that, like, to me, a character just keeps saying that, just doesn't, I don't know. It's a little corny. Am I alone here?
But Kuma is like that. Is the corny character? His earnestness is his defining feature.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying that's why it didn't
No,
really.
Your problem, I guess, is a show don't tell kind of thing. But I think I'm conflicted because that's true, and I generally agree with that principle. And in Egghead specifically, Oda has had trouble with that earlier on. But I think a lot of it is for Kuma's sake. Like, I get it. Kuma does not have a lot of self-confidence for reasons that are kind of obvious with the trauma of his childhood.
Yeah.
But I think that's at least there is a purpose for it, even if it is beating the audience over the head.
Sure, and that's fine. And I'm like, I think that because this flashback goes to so many different places, and you see it through so many different people's eyes, then you sort of have to be constantly reminded of the trauma that Kuma has to endure throughout this entire ordeal. Now, I think that, like, I think what's really cool about Kuma is that, like, this is a character that Oda clearly, I mean, thinking back to Thriller Bark even, like, that Oda clearly had a plan for, and this was the plan. We all know, thanks to an SBS, that Bonnie and the rest of the Supernovas were like a 10-minute like scribble job, basically. Like, oh, here's
made up that week.
Yeah, here's some characters that I think are cool. And I think that's kind of neat that Bonnie has been folded into this story, because it gives Kuma's tragic story that much more resonance. What really worked for me here is the particular panel where he explains his memory ball and how it will vanish once you touch it. And Vegapunk's like, oh, it's okay, I'll keep it safe and I can look at it with this machine. And knowing that Bonnie has touched it means that now it's a sure thing. Kuma is never really coming back. Like, this was almost like a backup copy The hard drive has essentially been erased now. This is the Chopper giving here look.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the equivalent I'm seeing here, which I think is that's what got me about the Chopper flashback the most, is when Chopper realizes this, and it's just like,
Yeah.
that's the real stab through the heart moment. And for me, the stab through the heart moment comes there. It doesn't come where he, pulls the switch and we see Kuma turn into a robot, like, for good. For me, it's the, okay, here's my memories. It's a copy of my memories. So, like, if you touch them, poof, they're gone. The rest of my memories will be.
It's like having like a recorded message of a late parent that you can only listen to once.
Yeah. Yeah, completely. Now, the other thing that sort of, like, I think that I have a feeling is going to pay off in a chapter or two, that takes this away a little bit, is Vegapunk telling Saturn this, oh, I invented this neural pathway that can switch between dual personalities, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing. I'm this is just speculation, obviously, and I think we'll see what we see.
Isn't that the satellites that he's talking about?
No, I think that, oh, you know what? That's the
Maybe.
satellites. That just occurred to me. I see. I thought that this was a,
Which line?
where he's talking to Saturn, Vegapunk's talking to Saturn, and he's just saying that he invented a neural pathway that can switch between dual personalities. That to me that was a way of saying, oh yeah, I'm putting this thing inside Kuma,
Which it is, I think.
going to keep his will somewhere in there, which I think is what we were seeing when he's zooming off from Kamabaka to Marijua and now probably Egghead.
Probably.
Not yeah. So or not probably yeah.
Spoilers
probably.
for later.
Yeah, spoilers for later in this episode. Yeah, I think I do think this is one of the best flashbacks, by and large. Front to back, it's masterfully done. I think there is emotional resonance. I just also think that I've been in the One Piece game for long enough that this wasn't going to. I think just for some reason it didn't hit me the way I wanted to.
That happens. I don't think
Yeah.
you don't have to feel bad about that.
The bit where Kuma's running is really, really wonderful. The life, but a series of nuisances is a wonderful line. This is the shit you don't get from Scanslations, people. This is seriously. This is that's just great fucking work, Steven. I will leave by saying this. What if there was an assisted living community made up of Bonnie's victims?
And a daycare.
Yeah.
And a daycare, yeah. Do we? Okay, but
They would revert at some
do there
point.
right?
Do they have to though? That's a pretty great image. Ed, let's wrap up 1102 at least.
Well, I just gotta say the one thing that I haven't really seen people that haven't been mentioned yet, but is just the way Bonnie is. She gets to have this, sort of. She's this very sort of pure piratey experience. She's this very sort of free spirit. She's very well protected amongst her crew, and she's just going through this. She's having her adventure, and she gets to have it sort of on her own terms, even if she's I'm gonna find the Nika just so I can say so I can tell my dad I met the Nika when we see him again. But she's sort of full speed into this adventure that she's having, and Kuma is just sort of content to sort of watch from the sidelines, knowing what's going to happen. It's more painful. It would be more painful if they did see each other. I guess that's the way he sees it. But and then just to her have this all at once realization, and in doing so, destroying these memories, it's really devastating for Bonnie. And I feel, she's gonna have to come back from this somehow. And I guess she can appreciate the fact that her father's like the greatest man, the most selfless person in the entirety of of One Piece, and he gets to, you know, all that he gave up for her. This is the father as a saint. Really, he is a holy figure. So I guess she'll be spending the rest of her life living up to that. Hopefully,
I do think it's interesting that we finally get why he carries around the Bible. He has the, you know, the priest collar kind of thing, and it's sort of, yeah, I having Nika be like a god that he worships, that's such a interesting element for a character in One Piece, because I think this is the first time outside of the Satanists who are summoning Brooke, I mean, the One Piece podcast, summoning Brooke, that we've seen that kind of thing, and like I think it's a testament to the series as a whole that there's still a lot of new character archetypes that Oda can put out there.
Yeah, but he is a religious figure like Kuma is, and you admire his he's like the Buddha. He's got you admire his steadfastness and his acceptance of finding peace in the face of all this chaos and pain. So I don't know, he's a very idealized character. There isn't much that's wrong with him. He's like kind of a perfect human, except for, I guess he could have done more. Maybe he could have done more, but he did what he could. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of emotional resonance for me. I can't remember if I cried or not. I probably teared up. I think going through it now, there are two things that I didn't really notice that bring up the emotions. Alex mentioned one. And the scene where my heart really sinks is when he boots up as a now robot from after being it's like almost like a dementia patient. Like the person looks the same, they're there, but they're gone. And there's something extra depressing and awful around that. And I'm sure most people listening have gone through something like that with a loved one. So it definitely resonates. Yeah, I love the religious element, just to come off of what Ed was saying. Like even the target thing on Kuma's regular outfit kind of looks like that cross with the sun thing around it, which seems to be the religious icon for his church, whatever that is. And I do love how it's kind of, I mean, obviously a lot is taken from Christianity. In this specific flashback, we talked a lot about how he's kind of he was absorbing the hurt and pain of mankind in order to give them peace. Whatever is in the New Testament. It's Christmas. This is the Christmas chapter. Come on. But I do really love seeing, I am a world building person. This is a very cool and personal way to kind of build what may have been a religious backstory to Nika, and we'll see a little bit more about that. The sun, I would just keep an eye out if you're a reader for anything that looks sun-like, even if it isn't, because it's probably important. Yeah,
it's like you're abandoning the moon for the sun now.
No, I think both. There, that's one. But seriously, that's one. Both, I think, are important for different reasons.
The other side of the sun, right?
Yeah, it's the reflection of the sun. They're all interrelated.
No, I mean, like you turn the sun around and it's the moon.
No, that's not how astronomy. No, even in the One Piece world, absolutely not. Sometimes they're out at the same time. Sam, I don't know if you've ever seen that before.
I think Sam saw my Year 5 merch and just like, oh, that's how it works. Okay,
turn it around.
One is just the other's after image.
The running scene.
How fast the Earth is spinning, Zach?
Yeah. The running scene gets me. That these are also all people he really admires and looks up to throughout the flashback. I think this one page, was it 15, with that running, really cinches the whole thing for me, because this flashback has the unique aspect in that it is about someone's entire life. I don't believe there's anything like that he's attempted in One Piece. And it hasn't been so many chapters. It's felt like a while because we've had a lot of breaks, but I don't think it's been a ton of time since this flashback began. And the amount of ground he's been able to cover, I think at the beginning it felt very rushed, as we mentioned, but in retrospect, I will admit where I'm wrong, and I think it was expertly done to focus on his relationship with Bonnie, which seems to be the core of this. And it's also an interesting flashback because it's not really a flashback. It's Bonnie living through Kuma's life as it existed. It's it's a flashback to her in the Paul room in a way, but it's extra painful because of that. And I think the Amiodake mushroom, Alex, like really hits me hard there. And it really, really hits me hard in the Chopper flashback. God damn it. That is the part that is awful. But the way Hiroluke responds and the way Kuma responds here, I don't think Kuma doesn't care about the memories he has and him living on. He cares about his child living on. He cares about the future. And, if only the people in control in One Piece and the real world thought more about their future and the future generations, I think we'd all be better off. And it's a really great and inspiring message from Oda. Other than that, it was great seeing Shabati designs again, and Oda did a really good job with that. And Frankie haircut. I don't think there's anything I want to say that hasn't been said. We should probably get into the next chapter. Should we just do this right away?
Yeah, do a whole other one of these now.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do a little stretch.
All right.
This
Got the cover of Jump. Yes.
cover of Jump Ed. Yeah, no, that's fine. You're good. We're gonna go straight in. This is the manga recap for chapter 1103, entitled "I'm Sorry, Daddy." Don't make the joke, Stephen Alex. Not this week. Ed, what's on the cover every week? For this flashback. What's on the cover page, Ed?
Well, the cover page is
Shonen Jump.
And yes, the cover of Luffy is Luffy and the rest of the stars of Shonen Jump wearing fuzzy dragon kigurumis because it's the year of the dragon, right?
And then the color spread. I don't know if you want to.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. Does anyone have thoughts on the Shonen Jump cover? I don't-
Adorable.
Yeah, it's
Cute.
cute. Nothing else.
It's cute.
I actually want that Kigurumi. I'll say it. Yeah.
Kigas are warm.
Mm.
The warmest things are in existence, I think.
I don't know about that. What about the sun?
Well, that's hot.
Well,
That's not warm.
Well, no, the sun is just the moon, as we just learned.
yeah.
Do Kigus
sun
have
is
down
the-
feathers in them?
No, they're just really like.
It's not maybe.
I've got an octopus
not?
one in my closet.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
you're
that
an
one.
octopus.
But
Yeah, I have
You're
a
an octopus
Slowpoke
man.
one.
Oh, I see.
Octopus. Man.
Septipus.
I have a Slowpoke Kigu. That is my
Awesome.
favorite thing in the winter.
So the color spread. Yeah, it's a dragon themed color spread. We are the Straw Hats and Yamato and Momonosuke and everyone.
But not
is riding
dragon.
No.
Well, right. But they're riding on the clouds. I just gotta say, I love that Nami is the only one wearing a Ryunosuke dragon shirt.
Oh, Robin's missing out.
Well,
That's Robin's
It
crush.
looks,
Yeah.
it looks more like an axolotl looking at it.
Oh, it might.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It might be. If it's
It
not
looks more like
Ryunosuke,
Ryunosuke.
I'd
It's
be
hard. It's
upset.
hard to see it because it's acts a little.
Oh, you're funny.
I am.
Look at Frankie's hair.
It's the dragon, so I think it's.
Frankie's dragon
do,
hair.
It's not an axolotl.
I do like this like Shenlong looking dragon on Zoro's shirt, like
It's cool.
taking like a big comedic bite out of the word.
He's
dragon.
That's
belching
right.
words.
I would buy that shirt.
Zoro shirt.
Yeah,
want.
I would buy that
need
one. I agree with Brodsky. The hair, Ed is correct. Frankie's hair is the star of this color spread, I think. Look at that hair. That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say.
Pretty great.
Yeah. All right.
I was gonna make a
Yamato's
double dragon joke about Nami's shirt, but
Well, Nami is being propped up by Robin right now too.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
just like
true.
girlfriends.
Oh,
do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she's
Don't get so excited there, Nami.
drunk.
I guess that's what's happening.
Yeah. Wonder what's in the
Sanji is the
24.
Nami's not gonna
on,
get drunk. She can hold her
for
liquor
sure.
better than anybody.
2024, the
Yeah,
year.
I wonder what it's
There you
about.
go. Yeah. Okay.
Where
Jinbei
is that
has
number, by the
Jinbei's
way? I
got
saw
a
it.
really
There it
sweet,
is.
really sweet kimono there.
I also often forget what year it is.
Yeah. And in case you live in a context-free world, the kanji on Luffy's shirt is dragon.
I do.
Don't
I
say.
do. And
Hey,
Jinbei
Yamato's
is
there,
getting
too.
drunk. Yeah, and yeah, Yamato's there. And Momonosuke, I assume.
Yeah, Momonosuke
Um,
got better with those clouds.
Well, he did get
He's
better at that when the whole thing happened. It took him that entire
I
fight for
forgot.
like
He's in a shonen anime. You may struggle to do something, but as soon as you do it good once, you just do it good forever. So
Yep.
and I think that's true in real life, right? Yeah. No?
It's nice
Okay.
Yamato's in this color spread.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Kinemon didn't get the invite.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the one thing missing here because they invite all three of them kinda. And I just was watching that episode, so yeah, it's a little weird that they didn't all make it in Kinemon. And I love Kinemon. Why isn't anyway? Ed, why don't we do the first page of the chapter?
Sure. We get the wide shot of Egghead, and we start with this Vegapunk speaking, saying, "Bonnie, did you see everything?" And she says, "I did." And we see this is the adult Bonnie, and Vegapunk says, "Oh, drat! I've woken my promise to Kuma." And he's dejected, looking down at the ground. You hear footsteps walking over, and now it's correct age, Kid Bonnie, and she's giving him a hug and says, "I'm sorry, Vegapunk." It's just, and with the stark white background as well, it's it's a sad scene.
Mhm. Yes, of course. She came here expecting to get revenge for Kuma against Vegapunk, but now
Right.
she knows. And then we get an outside shot of the lab, and some time has passed. But Bonnie is asking, "What is this?" And he says, "This is a present for your 10th birthday. Kuma left it with me." And she says, "From Daddy, yay!" And then she's holding up this little piece of jewelry. She says, "What a beautiful sapphire. This necklace is shaped like the sun. I'll treasure it forever." And Vegapunk says, "He said it would be a good luck charm for you, but..." And then perhaps another little extra bit of time. And he says, "Indeed. 2 years ago, who could have imagined that boy turning into this?" So I guess she was, telling him about Luffy or something. She says, "So Straw Hat is the son of Daddy's friend?" He says, "Yep. I was shocked when I saw the two of you show up together. Fate is such a strange thing sometimes." As we, as Kuma remarked as well in the previous chapter, looking at their bounty posters. And Vegapunk continues, "While you are in this room, a number of dangerous things have happened on Egghead. The Straw Hat crew just saved my life minutes ago, in fact. I'll tell you everything. Let's go back and meet up with them when things have calmed down."
We'll never hear about it though.
Yeah. And he continues, "I'm sorry, Bonnie. In the end, I'm nothing more than a hired scientist." And she says, No, it's not your fault. It's all him." And we are going back from
The
that
transition.
yes,
Yeah.
a transition from that previous moment to the present day, as we will see turning the page.
I also want to add, I really love the hired scientist literally taking from Saturn's words there in the previous
Yes.
chapter. Yeah.
Hired scientist.
Ed.
Higher dragon.
But so yes, speaking of Saturn, the fully transformed Saint J. Garcia Saturn Ushi Oni, holding up Jewelry Bonnie in his hand, but to squish her to death. And he says, "Jewelry Bonnie the pirate, your father Kuma is dead." And just the look of shock across her face, and Sanji and Frankie and Vegapunk all commenting that they can't move, and Luffy is so desiccated here. He says, "Someone give me food." I don't even need food.
I always say this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's gurgling for meat here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isolate the footage. Go ahead.
Yeah. And yeah, so nobody can move, and they've captured Sentomaru, and Kizaru's also on the floor there, thinking, Sentomaru, Bonnie, and back on the exterior, Egghead back with the other Marines say, "What's the situation? We don't know. Commodores and below can't go in. Brand new Emperor of the Sea holed up on the island. I suppose it's too much to hope." Or I guess these are nearby islands
Yeah.
who are saying this. Brand new Emperor of the Sea holed up on the island? I suppose it's too much to hope no one dies. They say it's a bigger siege than in O'Hara. Is Dr. Vegapunk going to be all right? And in the revolutionary camp, you see Dragon and Ivankov talking. And Dragon says, Kuma is running off of some fragment of his true instincts. Where do you think he'll go, Eva? If it were me, I'd charge Mary Joa without a second thought. Kuma's different. I think he'll...
To be fair, he did charge Marijoa without a second thought already.
Who needs to do it again?
I love Morley in the background doing like calisthenics or something, leading I'm thinking of Mr. Burns thing from
high air quite
that's
twist. He's yakking, looks like. Yak.
yak.
Don't talk back.
Yak back. Steve.
Hi, here I am. Yeah, sorry, I was just remembering because I'm drawing too, so that's why. Anyway, so we see from Bonnie's point of view, we see the Navy men, vice admirals, pointing their guns, arming at Bonnie, and she says, "If I'm going to die anyway, I might as well take you down with me." And she says, "Distorted future, Nika-like," and then this is when she gets all big and buff, and her hands will get all big with the punching, and Saturn's like, "Excuse me, Nika?"
Cope.
I hate that. I hate that. Workshop it.
And she comes swinging down with her big fists and yelling, "Future!" And this is and Jerry Garcia is like is shook by this, but something happens. Like she kind of the end of the attack is future, Nika-like future. But she says, "Again, I'm getting weaker. Why?" I guess it just I think it made contact, right, Steven? Yeah,
it just bounces off. It pawongs off. Yeah.
Boing, yeah.
While he grabs her like an insect. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually making contact or not. Maybe that little splash thing.
Yeah, there's an impact.
Yeah, there's a little.
Yeah, I think
it did.
Mark.
Or
that could slipped off. I assume.
That
But
that could be him. That could be his shock. Like ding. Like whoa.
Yeah, because I feel like I don't think he's not that shook by it.
Yeah,
I don't think he's shook by it at all. Yeah.
She's getting weaker, and Saturn's grip is only getting tighter as she yells out in pain, and he says, "I see. You're his daughter, eh? And you know that name, but you don't know what it is." And as he like kind of regroups in his head, he's like, she doesn't seem to have made the connection between Nika and the Straw Hat's white colored form.
Nobody better mention that, because then I'm screwed.
He says, "Such a shame." I think he looks over to his right and see Luffy's just like
Wonderful.
going to town on his own personal buffet here, just comically just laying down on his back, just like out his nose, going hum nom 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 hum nom nom nom.
Someone mentioned this looked like I forget where, somewhere on the internet mentioned this looks like the food from that food replicator thing that's around. Burgers, pizza.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Some ramen over there on the left too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like a
Don't eat that
buffet
too fast.
It's like a
One of those
buffet in Vegas.
big gooey pizzas.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, Wano style pizza.
The Goofy movie pizzas.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
All cheese, no
pizza
anything
from
else.
Goofy movie here. And he just says, "Hey, who gave him food? Put sea prism stone cuffs on him at once."
Can't
Who
stop
let him
eating.
cook? One of the neighbors like,
What a great example of Luffy being, Oda mentions, like Luffy being the character who could lighten up any situation, like this extremely dire
Yeah.
moment.
how could we stop crying?
Yeah. Luffy will help. Alex.
The Marines are rushing to him. Seize him now! Rah! And we see Kizaru's, he's sort of sitting up now with a little word balloon. Interesting. If you had anything to do with that food. Anyways, here's Bonnie. She's in the iron grip of Saturn. She says, "I can't use my age-changing powers on this old guy. How come?" And he says, "I gave you that power, Bonnie." She goes, "Huh?" And Dr. Exposition says, "It was an experiment to see if an infant incapable of eating solid fruit could be given powers with an extract. It was successful, but the fruit itself was worthless." And Bonnie's sort of shivering, looking at her hands, being like, "Oh, kind of coming to this realization." Saturn continues, "Its powers might allow you to transform into any future, but the more you know of reality, the narrower your future possibilities become.
He's turning into Sidious a little bit.
Oh, no. I'm just channeling Jeffrey Wright a little bit. So we see Kuma hurtling through the sky as this dialogue continues. He says, Saturn says, "You want to believe in Nika, don't you?" And Bonnie continues, "Nika's real. Ever since the day my father became a cyborg that obeys your orders, I've been searching for Nika, hoping that he'll be able to free Daddy. And your current weakness is evidence that you've begun to think he is not real. Your father believed in the idiotic legend of the Buccaneers as well. He said to me, 'I want to save people like Nika does.'" And we see a little flashback of baby Kuma, or really little kid Kuma.
Kid Kuma.
Kidkuma.com.
Kid Kuma. No.
Yes. Well, that was when he saw him at God Valley too.
Stop making me buy domain names. I'm not doing that.
Kid Cudi.
Bigpunchies.com.
Bigpunchies.com. Saturn even continues even further. "Years later, I performed a chemical experiment on your mother, who was the 8th wife of a fellow in the Holy Land. It was a failure. Those blue blemishes showed up again. But although it didn't have the desired result, I found it quite curious that the same effect was passed down to her daughter." And yeah, this is, Bonnie's like, "Huh?"
You're doing that voice right, I gotta say.
Thank you.
It gets the full "I'm evil and I'm explaining my evil plan to you."
And
It really is.
You
It really is a Star Wars villain monologue.
Yeah,
you got
it
a
really
splash
is.
of Vader in there. You're just like,
Yeah.
To be fair, we know Oda is a gigantic prequel fan in particular of Star Wars, and this
Well, he
flashback and this reek of it.
He liked episode 1. Let's not
Yeah.
like
did.
The pod,
Yeah.
well, the pod race scene was pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Well, a really quick side tangent. I remember a
Oh,
couple
no.
years ago, I was having lunch with Ed, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I was watching Phantom Menace the other night, and I fell asleep." And I was like, "How could you fall asleep? The pod race scene's awesome." And then Ed's like, "You should watch Redline. That entire movie is the pod race scene." And then I watched Redline, and it changed my life. So,
I forgot that movie was that long
changing
ago.
lives. Yeah. All
Yeah.
over the world.
Redline's
a great
Everybody
movie.
should watch Redline.
It is. Yep.
So Saturn's evil monologue is disrupted a little bit by a massive explosion on Egghead, and one of the Navymen says, "What just crashed onto the island?"
God, look at these guys.
Yeah. and Bonnie is coming to terms with what Saturn just told her, and she says, "You did all of that." And Vegapunk, of course, didn't know any of this, and Vegapunk's, he's very noticeably pissed off. He says, "You did that as an experiment, Saturn?
Those sapphire skills tore Kuma's family apart. He gave up his life to stop them. And you had the gall to offer him a deal. As though you were doing him a favor?
And we turn the page, and Sadden is looking down on us like, put yourself in my shoes. Would you bother yourself with the feelings of insects? It is impossible. And Bonnie's getting choked up by this. And from the ashes, we have Bartholomew Kuma, the man formerly known as Bartholomew Kuma, lurching. And the people on the ground are like, oh, a pacifista? No, he's got pads on his hands, which the reader cannot see.
We're gonna trust up there.
Trust me.
It is kind of a funny line to have. Very
yeah.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Which is ironic.
No,
His fist was clenched.
Former warlord of the
Trust.
sea, Bartholomew Kuma has appeared on the southwest shore of Egghead. He's proceeding toward the center of the island. The authority chip isn't working on him. He just won't stop. What nuisance is this? Kuma couldn't possibly be here.
Nonsense, but also nuisance.
And
Well, I mean,
Bonnie-
what's life but not
A series of nonsenses.
series
Yes.
of nuisances.
What's
Just
One
don't
Piece
stop.
but a series of nonsense? You know.
Sam, I love
what's
your
the meme?
I love Sam's line reads because you made these guys sound like they were his hype men.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the meme? Like his flow too fresh, his bitch too
Yeah.
bad, all this stuff.
they'll kill you, Kuma.
Wait, wait, you said flow too?
Mm.
Because I've not heard any of those.
Sam.
And Bonnie is shivering in fear. She's frozen. She's like, I can't. I'm too afraid. And Vegapunk's like, Kuma, but why? Stop him. Shoot him if you must. Yes, sir. And then this is Bonnie's inner monologue as Kuma's like storming the scene. I can't even speak. Hey, Daddy, I think my spirit is breaking down. But speaking of spirits, Kuma getting blasted by cannons, taking the heat, but he's
In the
still
face.
running. His spirit is moving his body post-death, post-brain death.
Supposedly. Brodsky.
The first panel is just a huge explosion. Like, fire! Give him every shot you have. And then we just see kind of just like a still robotic but determined face.
Love this panel.
Kuma. It's really.
It's
good shot.
both like emotional and badass.
And then we have more of Bonnie's dialogue here. It says maybe it'll be easier if I just die. And there's a panel of her just again absolutely sobbing. And finally, just as everyone is screaming and Kuma is running and everything is happening, her final line is like, I'm sorry, Daddy. It's who's that Saturn screaming? Enough of the squalling, you obnoxious brat. And squeezes her harder. It's the Bonnie screaming, saying, shoot him, or not Bonnie saying, Bonnie would not say this, sorry. More screaming saying, shoot him through the
Who
head.
was yelling
And we
this?
just
Can
have
I
seen
ask?
Okay, so
yeah.
I have to confess that I think I need to change this because I translated that thinking that they were talking about Kuma, but it
Yeah.
seems yeah. Once I read the chapter and it was finally out, and then I was like, wait a second, shouldn't that be talking about Bonnie? So yeah, let's just chalk it up to I can't believe he would do like some William Tell ass shit of like, here, shoot at the thing I'm holding in my hand with your guns.
Yeah. To be fair, I did think it was also Takuma when I read it, and that is a
I thought it was
weird thing.
Kuma.
And also, everyone's shooting at Kuma. It's
Like
like,
it was happening off screen.
yeah, that's what I
Right.
thought.
That's
But
what I
it,
was, and I mean, I think that like because of where like he's putting her down on the ground,
Yeah, he throws her to the ground right after this. So
Yeah.
why would you do that if you're waiting for them to shoot her in the
Right.
head? It like
Yeah.
doesn't completely
Yeah,
make
no,
sense.
I think it's right that like as a rating as shoot him to the head because the following panel is of the like sniper eyesight on
yeah.
Kuma. So it makes sense that it's shoot him
No,
to the head.
I
because
thought that was his
Kuma.
I thought that was
Yeah.
Kuma's target.
But then,
Oh.
wait, why is that on the camera when we're looking at Kuma?
Exactly.
That makes no sense.
If,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if it said shoot her through the head, then it would look like Kuma's taking aim.
Yeah.
it would make no sense too with like essentially the following panel like him holding up.
I don't know
Bunny
if
and
you're
then, like,
wrong,
throwing her to the
Stephen.
ground.
I don't
It
know.
is a very
I don't think
strange
you
and
know.
frenetic scene.
You could
I-
you could pass
Yeah.
along a note
guess-
and ask, I guess, but
Episode
I
title:
can-
Shot through the head.
Guys, the crosshairs on Kuma's eye, that's him targeting. He's done that before. The pacifistas have done that.
yeah. No, I know. It is weird that it's from that perspective though.
Yeah. They
Okay.
should.
Yeah, I think it's
Oda-
just
As you
Oda
read
should
it,
draw
like,
it. Oda should draw it RoboCop style. Like you need the prime
I guess, like,
directive.
which he's
would-
done. Hasn't he done that
Bruised
before? I
dirtbag.
thought he did.
Oh, I guess yeah, because it says like the beep beep with the eyesight on there. So it is
I'm
Kuma
assuming it is.
doing
That's what I assume too. But interesting. Hard to. Anyway, there's actually things going on.
I guess if you get an update, let us know because I'm curious. Because to me, it
Remember
read
that thing that
fine.
happened 4 years ago?
Yeah.
I have an answer for you.
So you just have this like really wide shot of explosions happening, the Marines falling, like Saturn holding Bonnie over his head, and then the next one is just Bonnie saying again, just like in her head, it's like "I'm sorry, Daddy." She's being just like thrown viciously to the ground.
yeah. If this wasn't
after
One
that, we
Piece,
have-
that would have done her in.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. No one could actually.
She's also
survive that.
12.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Zach, at your age, if you fell from that height, you'd be.
What height is that?
Listen,
that
as
could
a-
be any
No,
height.
'cause,
She hasn't
like, I
drank
know, like
enough
as a
milk
kid,
yet.
like
Yes, she did.
that's what
With
that
the
first
hot
panel was.
dogs. You missed that part, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like 30-something years worth of milk.
After also being like crushed by a giant
Yeah.
hand.
Okay,
I mean,
It could have been 4 to 5 minutes.
look,
the
when
giant
when a
hand, that could
yokai
go either way. you
when a
know,
yokai when an 8-legged yokai comes after me and tries to squeeze me and then throw me, I'll be sure to let you know the physics of the situation. Anyway, Brodsky, go ahead.
So the final panel of this one is we just see essentially one of his little spider legs start like moving towards Bonnie as she kind of like lays on the ground, and her final thought is like, "After all you did for me, ... And we
I'm
have a
sorry,
shot of
Daddy,
his
after
little-
all you did to me. Yeah.
Yeah, after did for me. Yeah, then you have a shot of was it Kuma's beans?
Yeah.
Kuma's beans.
Kuma's beans.
Oh, that's
right
what
in
I
that
should
one.
have said. Yeah, he's got beans on his hands.
This guy no, it's gonna
Aw.
flip beans. He has
Why did you
Aw.
spill your
Kuma
beans?
Kuma is
Aw.
adorable also, so it's reasonable.
Kuma's making biscuits.
Kuma's making
I love how dramatic his paws are in this chapter in particular. It's wonderful. And generally because his power is always paw shaped, it's like that's a very Oda juxtaposition of something super serious happening in a very weird and wacky way. As we go to the last page, what a panel. I love this panel as you have Saturn stabbing him through the back, as you see, stabbing Kuma through the back with one of his, what are those called, tendrils? I don't know, like what
Their
are
legs,
the spider
Zach.
leg?
They're spider legs. They're legs.
spider
Yeah, but-
legs. He's a.
Okay, but what do you call the actual
If my
spear
friend was,
of this?
I'll say like, if my friend was still here, she has 14 tarantulas.
Wow,
Okay,
that's
don't let me near that person. I don't want to know that person.
Why so little?
It's only growing every day. She had 13, and this week she's got 14.
Well, I mean, I think she saw Home Alone and thought that's the perfect home security. That's all I
Hmm.
need.
If that person is even within driving distance to me, that's too close.
No.
Speaking
They're
of,
safe. They're here.
okay, good. I'm not coming to Chicago now, though. Yeah, so we see Saturn, obviously not the intent here, stabbing Kuma through the back as Bonnie suddenly realizes what was going on and all the commotion behind her, and that her dad is indeed here. And he is in rough shape. He is he's got the Super Saiyan 2 electricity coming out of him. That's never good. He's missing an eye, but he's not missing half his face. Sakazuki messing up there a little bit. And everyone says at the same time, as they do in anime, it's Bartholomew Kuma. And you see Kuma lifting the spear. We'll look up the specific name for this after. Lifting it up and getting ready for bigpunchies.com. Here it comes. Armament fist. And Bonnie's back to her childhood form, crying, her true form, her natural form. And you just see a frenetic, kinetic fist coming straight towards Saturn, who surprisingly is expressing surprise at this moment. And
he's about to hit him with the George McFly punch.
Yeah, and actually, yeah. And the manga is on break next week and returns on Monday, right? I'm sorry, on Sunday, the 21st of January. But before then, what are your thoughts on the chapter? Let's go backwards. Ed, what did you think?
Yeah, that's just, I know it's just so cool to it's futile though, like, because they're never gonna get that relationship back that was taken away from them. But he gets to have this moment of catharsis of punching this guy in the face after all he did to his family. And hearing him talking about Ginny, I think too. I'm not sure if he can hear or if this is just programmed into him. But him getting this moment,
supersonic hearing from last chapter, he has the supersonic hearing.
It's true. It's true. That I think this chapter also does a very good job of building in the comedy, even in the saddest moments of One Piece. Like, we get that moment of Luffy just how did he get food and who gave him food and just stuffing his face with it. That's just that's sort of a classic moment. But just the way Bonnie is focused on in this chapter is just we really get to see, I don't know, how affected she is and how much she loved her father, and to know that that's been taken away from her. But in this moment, he still has enough of his humanity to save her from, the person who is directly responsible for doing, all the damage to his family, even more so than just the government. This is the person who the government acts through, and is the reason everything turned out the way it did for him. So it's it's a really sad chapter, and but we get that moment of catharsis at the end of it that sort of makes it all worth it.
Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the artwork in this chapter. At the very least, like, even it's nice to see some stark panels of a whole lot of shit happening in the background. Mm-hmm. The first couple pages are like that, and it's just nice to see some clear artwork without a whole lot of business happening. I feel like Kuma's flashback has been just so dense and chock full of stuff that it's refreshing to sort of pull back away from it and have a nice little intimate moment between Bonnie and Vegapunk. The two of them reconciling with everything that has sort of happened since this arc began. It was a nice little moment. I can't help but wonder if what's the deal with that sapphire scale, other than a reminder of the disease that she overcame and the Nika the sun god. I wonder if there's something more to it than that. But
it's just a sapphire, right? It's not from her sapphire scale.
No.
Yeah. Sorry, I just want to clear.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, it just says what a beautiful sapphire. I assume
that can't be a. That's
no, it's not a coincidence. I'm sure it is marking that disease, and
So Saturn Saturn, monologuing, basically telling us the connective tissue that that was sort of missing from the flashback. As a like, oh well, basically we were wondering this entire flashback, like, well, he keeps saying he's a scientist, but like, how? Like, I guess he's the one that gave Ginny that disease by just experimenting on her. It's almost as if like he made his life's mission to make Kuma's life a living hell, and it's got to have something to do with the Buccaneers, I think.
Yeah.
Basically,
Agreed. Yeah.
there's more to Saturn obviously than meets the eye, but like he's definitely encountered this group of people before, and I think he might have at one point made a declaration of war on them, and I'll, as long as I live, I'm going to inflict hell upon.
Feels very Frieza with the Saiyans.
Kind of,
the
yeah.
original version, yeah.
Yeah, and also he's about to like, can he actually be punched? Can Kuma actually punch him? Will it hurt
Yeah.
him? Do we
I
know?
hope.
Well-
I'm betting it will.
Yeah.
Mostly
Yeah.
because we haven't seen the full breadth of Kuma's power the entirety of One Piece, because he's usually like popping people out of here. I don't think we've ever seen him in a full on like one-on-one fight before.
Right. We saw Saturn get stabbed in the beard and healed himself because the beard bled.
To
Yeah.
be fair, the beard is a bad place to stab someone. But
Yeah, you
Wait,
can't
what was
bleed
it?
from a beard.
I'm trying to remember what Steve said because the Saturn's you know what? Go ahead, Alex, because now I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think that this punch will definitely it'll shock him a bit, maybe hurt him.
Oh.
It's a hockey imbued fist, so I think that
Sorry, I just remembered. I want to say it before I forget
Yeah.
again. Steve, I know talking about that unfinished chapter, which was, I think, kind of our low point in the reading of the manga, of the flashback. I think this helps kind of rectify that a little bit, because if there is impetus behind his animosity behind the Buccaneers, then it makes sense why Ginny was specifically targeted a little bit more potentially
Why is
to
that?
hurt Kuma specifically. I mean, if they had the intelligence at least to put the two of them together,
Well,
that at least gives
how
some
much
potential.
intelligence was
No.
not to how much intelligence was there? I mean, did they know they were a couple? It's
Well,
I
possible.
I don't think this explains that at all.
I don't-
Yeah,
I didn't say it explains it. I said this
infers a
could.
bit.
It could infer.
It
that,
could
yeah.
infer, but that's the problem, is that it's still not explicitly said. And
Well,
in
it
a
might be in the
flashback where-
future.
in a
Yeah,
flashback
that's-
where most of it is explicitly left on the table.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that since learning of Kuma's existence, Saturn has had a very close eye on him since he was a boy.
Yes.
There's Kuma hiding out on Sorbet. My opinion, bad idea to just go back to like where you came from, because that's
Yeah.
it's people are gonna know if you're getting targeted, people are gonna know exactly where you are. So I don't know. I think that who knows if we're gonna find out even any more about this relationship between Saturn and Kuma, but based on the data that we have inferred so far, I think that it's logical to say that Saturn has had it out for Kuma and continues to this day. But I guess he got complacent after he became a robot, because he looks legitimately shocked to see him here. And I like, this was we saw this coming, right? Like, this was a hero moment. Like, we're all waiting for Kuma to come in and save Bonnie here.
I don't think Oda was trying to hide that.
No.
I think it was
No, and I think that's what makes like this so triumphant. This last spread here at the end. I think that this is just a really great superhero moment after a really tense and grueling tragic backstory. We want to see Kuma get a bit of a win here, and he'll probably meet with a tragic fate here, but Nika is right within his sights, and I think that that very well may be the last thing he sees.
and he knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I what a fun chapter. Like Ed said, the comedy, cutting through some of the tension here is really great. I think that Kizaru is the the one that gave him the food. His position is slightly different physically than in between the two panels. So and he moves at the speed of light, and Saturn's preoccupied. So it's either that, I think we mentioned this on the Discord the other day, or Caribou.
Well, I think is it because they took Sentomaru captive?
Where did Caribou come?
Well, Caribou's on Egghead somewhere, or at least was, to
Yeah.
be fair.
But no, yeah, they did take Sentomaru captive, and I think there's the thing that like we didn't really mention. I mean, you might have mentioned it in the episodes where you covered it in the manga, but the I think it's nice that and I was thinking about this throughout these past couple chapters. It's nice that One Piece has sort of become an all-encompassing story about more than just the Straw Hats. I was thinking about it in terms of the Garp and Kobe stuff, and this whole
Yes,
Kuma flashback, and even like the little bits with Sentomaru and Kizaru. Giving them a little bit of humanity, giving Kizaru humanity, which I think is really, really great. A character that we've only seen up to this arc as a tool and doing whatever he is told.
Professing that. Yeah.
And seeing that he has this this bit of humanity, I think, is a really great payoff for this character that we've seen be just a weapon for the government. And I think that's sort of the theme of this arc, right? Government weapons gaining humanity, and vice versa.
It's
right?
the Seraphim too, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like when you have all these pieces together, right? You have, like you say, the Seraphim, you have Kuma, and you have
It's
Sentomaru,
perfect.
you
It's
have,
perfect for
Kizaru.
the AI thing going on in the real world too. I'm sure, not coincidentally.
And you also have CP0, weapons of the government. And we're talking also about the Mother Flame, which powers a weapon of the government. So I think like that's the number 23. Everything comes back to this. But I think that everything is really starting to really pay off for this arc in a very satisfying way. And I'm really happy that this chapter ends where it does. It's a great cliffhanger. It's going to be a hard 2 weeks, but I'm definitely very excited for what's to come.
Steve.
Okay. Yeah, we needed this. This was a win. We'll see what happens with the fallout here. But one of the most earned punches I could remember for a while. No, I won't say that, but I just think like, yeah, this is earned. I'm like, especially with, I think like, wow, it's like really kind of just add a little bit more, and with Jay Garcia just being like, while we were at it, yeah, I gave you that devil fruit power. It was an experiment. Also experimented on your mother. And then I was just like, oh, yeah. So it was like, and and my house was built by orphans, and I don't recycle. That's why
Out of orphans. Yeah.
I was saying buy them, but I'm not that evil.
Yeah, it's Dr. Venture kind of level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it really
Dr. Venture Punk.
There it is. Go ahead.
Really just like doubling down. I'm like, yeah, I'm a real bastard. So I hope this punch connects him right on the tooth. This guy has it coming. Like it's crazy how just like over the top like evil these guys are, but I guess they kind of have to be. They've been pulling the strings for quite a while now. I guess they, I wouldn't want them to be like, well, they kind of have a point. But yeah, this was like kind of, while the previous chapter was a good cry, this was like a big like, yeah, boy. I really felt like this felt like a win. And like I said, hopefully it makes that connection. The fact that Kizaru is, it's possibly being like, screw these guys, this sucks, like it's like these people are terrible. Like I was like thinking this was gonna happen with Lucci, but turns out yeah. He's like once a cop always a cop, I guess, with Lucci, but Kizaru is kind of just like, nah, this sucks.
It's funny that we're hoping all the bad guys become good guys this arc.
So I like that, and like Kizaru kind of makes sense because he's got light powers, the speed of light, so probably he was just like, oh yeah, I'm hurt, shoom shoom shoom, just like kind of going back and forth and like, and the ramen's for me. So yeah, other than that, like I don't know if I have too much else to say. That I was just like, I'm just happy that Kuma finally got there. I don't know if he's gonna make it out of it, because like kind of at this point it's like it's not even Kuma. But I'm curious if there's something like, oh no, like his humanity is overwritten his programming. It's going loco. I'm curious what the reasoning is going to be behind this. It could possibly be that. I don't think it would have been like. I think that would be cooler than just been like, oh yeah, and Vegapunk. One more thing, if Bonnie happens to be here, and she's about to get killed by one of the five elders. I don't know. Let's say Jay Garcia. Can you just program an override for me to just drop everything I'm doing and just gun
which
it for
was
there?
Sitting and just
One
relaxing.
would have been hilarious. One would have been hilarious if Kuma wasn't rescued and he was still Roswald's like slave and just like, want to ride on daddy's big slave, son? And Charles is like, okay, father. And then they're riding on it, and then Kuma senses Bonnie's in danger and just like like a
Takes
horse
off.
just bucks them off.
No, it goes with
that'd be
goes with
great.
him and dies in mid transit. It's perfect.
Or I don't know, like runs through a tunnel and then they're like, oh no, it's too low. Bonk. I don't know.
Yeah, perfect.
I would that like the thing is though, yeah, that's not as dramatic, of course. That's like that'd be funny. And also, screw the celestial dragons. They should die. So
Yeah, I think that's something everyone could agree on.
but I'm so happy to see. I will say this, like Kuma, I've always really liked Kuma. But now that there's like depth to him, he actually has a story now, like a backstory, I should say. Like he always kind of had like a lot going on for him, but he's really, his stock is on the rise for me. I love this character. I mean, the gentle giant. That's like an easy, that's a quick way into my. That's a quick way to my heart. But this has been so good. He's. Oh, this has been such a treat. Like to like, wow. Like I don't know how much of this like Oda had in his mind for a long time, because I feel like it really like hooks up with a lot of the things he dropped, the hints throughout the series. But it's great. It's payoff. Like Kuma, I want to see Kuma. If it's gonna be a blaze of glory, and it's gonna be a gory blaze of glory. I just, I hope it's just gonna be satisfying. Great chapter.
Steven.
Yeah, I'll be quick since you guys have already covered it real well. Yeah, really a good, I feel like there's a lot that happens, but it is not much. Like you could just describe this chapter as like it's setting up, Kuma punching out Saturn, or at least inflicting, the symbolic blow that that he deserves to get to throw. And so it was, Oda worked it up well as far as the villainous monologue, and to just make you feel as bad as possible right before the triumphant entering of the scene of Kuma, which had been telegraphed so consistently throughout the chapters preceding it. And so, yeah, I think he did a great job with that. I guess the one thing I will add is it is kind of, I do think it is kind of funny Speaking of Star Wars, of Kizaru kind of doing the like Vader in the throne room thing where he looks back and forth like 5 or 6 times between the evil boss who's a giant monster and is giving a villain monologue, and then his friends that we saw how close he was with them in his flashback, and then finally decided like maybe I'll do something that's actually good for once. So that was kind of amusing, but yeah, we'll see. I think I do feel like that it was a good call that probably Kuma, this is One Piece, Kuma will probably not be the finishing blow. I do really like the idea of him like sort of temporarily incapacitating Saturn or something, but basically lasting long enough to get to see Luffy in Gear 5 mode, because I feel like that is it's too good. It's been set up too heavily throughout the flashback and stuff of his obsession with Nika for that not to happen. And so I do feel like that we need to see that. So it's not going to be as simple as, one hit KO from Kuma to knock out Saturn. I do feel like we need to see Luffy as well. But yeah, it's really exciting. The end of the year stuff is always the schedule is always it's always very weird because they front load the chapter work. So like this chapter I did multiple weeks ago. So it's been a while since I've seen any new material, and I haven't seen, the next one yet. So I'm like with everybody else here where I'm just like, I just want to find out what happens. I just want to see it so bad.
You wait as long. It's just staggered in a different way.
Yeah, it's a different order.
I was muted when I made my really great joke, which wasn't good. It was just that once you share a slice of pizza together, you're true brothers, and that's Kizaru and the rest of them.
I'd say that
Brodsky.
was a stupid joke, but that's how I met Zach. So
I know. That's why I was thinking about it. And that's what we did last time we saw each other. So, yeah.
Pizza brings us
Pizza
together.
does bring us together. I think that's really the message of one. Wait, the One Piece.
That is the One Piece.
It's a slice.
One pizza.
Now I just want to hear the Kitadani version of that. Brodsky, your thoughts?
Pretty much mirroring what everyone has said. Like it's good. Again, next chapter, it's going to be so satisfying, no matter like even if it's just incapacitating for like a second to save Bonnie and to give Luffy a chance to, recover after being a shriveled little mess. And I can't agree honestly more with Steve too. It's just like Kuma has jumped up to like one of my favorite characters now, or a character I care so much more about, because we've seen him kind of throughout, and like I never really liked him, and then you see him protecting the ship, and I was like, oh, all right, I like you. And then now kind of getting just like the picture from like his perspective, go his entire backstory from like start to finish, to like where we finally have the real Kuma. It's not one of the clones, it's not something else that's shown up there, it is Kuma, that he is there and protecting his daughter. Like, but he's like, do we know that he knows what he's doing? Find out in 2 weeks. It's just been, this feels very, again, like it seems a win. Like it seems very satisfying. Like I have like the last page pulled up, and I'm like, I want to see him collide with Saturn's face so badly and just like knock him out. But also like, I'll say Kizaru he's been one of my favorite Marines. I don't know, just because he seems just like an asshole.
That's your type, I know.
Like, because he is a tool of the government, yes, but like I feel like he still does his own thing, kind of like his own vibe. He's just like, he'll do it, but like, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just like tap out if he doesn't feel like it. But I also agree. I'm like looking through, as you guys were saying, is like, I think he's the one from where he was first to where we see him second, where he's like sitting up. I think he's definitely the one that got Luffy the food, because no one else could move that quickly.
Caribou.
To bring
Caribou.
I never want to hear Caribou.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to interrupt because I was about to ask. I don't know, Sam. Caribou walk.
Sam will get his chance after this. Yeah.
You think we're going to have Caribou tag along in the story, being a jobber for this long without giving him like a big win at some point?
This is a big win.
Caribou, like barrel of Caribou at Raftel.
Not this. Kizaru can have this one. I'm just saying.
Sam,
I'm just
the
saying.
caribou
Don't
apologist.
don't talk about caribou like he's a non-entity here. You know.
I'd
feelings.
rather,
He's got
I'd prefer
feelings
to. No, he doesn't. He's a pile of sludge. I don't really know if he does. And I'm saying that literally. Brodsky, sorry, go ahead.
But I also just I liked having a little bit more of like the flavor to Kizaru too, where it's like again, these are his friends. He was there, like, you know, to like watch for the years, but like he bonded, he grew to keep people as friends, even if he doesn't really, you know, say it. I'll believe it's him until Caribou shows up, Sam. I'll keep that in mind. But I also confirmed with my spider friend. They're just called legs.
Even the spear part
unless it's
of
like
the.
No, it's like the little two front ones have their own names. Like they're called like.
You know, I'm glad I didn't want to
something
look
like
this up either. So this worked out very well for him.
But like the other 8 ones that he's using to stab with are just legs. So we were correct.
What's a tendril?
I don't know. I am tendril.
That's
It's
more of a
another part
tentacl.
the spider.
Okay.
Tendrils and tentacles are like they're wibbly
Okay.
wobbly. They don't have joints.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's
Okay.
for
I'm
my
learning.
spider anatomy.
Okay. You know what? Let's move on.
But yes, after the emotional toll we had last chapter, this one felt kind of like more energy, and like I'm really hoping again for a good ending. And I know that hopefully Kuma has like some sort of a little bit of humanity left, or you know, Vegapunk did something so that he can see the Nika, see Luffy, and I feel like that'd be like a perfect kind of like end for him. Because unfortunately, I don't see him making it out of this, which also just really sad to think
Yeah.
about.
Especially after this whole flashback.
Yeah, we got a very long flashback, which means either they are part of the crew or they are dying.
Well, or died a long time ago in the case of Odin.
Yeah.
Sam.
If Kuma were to join the Straw Hats, would that make him the new father figure of the?
Yeah.
It's
mean
like,
daddy?
Jinbei's like,
Well,
come on,
Jinbei's
I
an
just
uncle.
joined."
Jinbei's an uncle.
He's an
Jinbei
uncle. to
uncle.
us, but
No, he's an uncle to everyone.
No, I think
Frankie's
He's
the
an
dad.
uncle to them. No, he's like he's a
No,
good
yeah,
time
he's an uncle
uncle.
vibes.
Like,
didn't
Kuma's the
Oda
daddy.
himself say he's the dad in the the.
I think it's literally just because of their ages.
Yeah.
but Kuma is most fun.
Sam. Thoughts.
I don't have too many thoughts. The ending just feels classic, you know. It just feels like a classic. You know, the will lingers on in the body. It just feels like a pre-time skip moment almost. Of just like this sudden self-sacrifice. Yeah, I think it's probably Kizaru. I think seeing Kizaru sort of momentarily although like I feel like at this point, if Kizaru were to help the Straw Hats, I feel like he'd be stuck being with one of the good guys for the rest of the series at that point. If word ever got out to the other elders or something.
Yeah.
What was the one other thing I wanted to? Oh, I guess like I'm, and I think I'm genuinely of the opinion. I guess I think it would be sad. I think it'd be more poignant if Kuma didn't see Nika. If he really did, just kind of. But that's not a very One Piece kind of story. But I think it's more tragic when characters are dead before they get to see their dreams come true. You know.
That's the opposite of One Piece, I think. Generally.
But I mean, like, you know, like when somebody's over 30, they can die and be
To be fair, like the Nolan Kagura thing is a good example of that. But
nobody dies though until they turn 30. That's when like it could happen to you.
Anything else, Sam?
27,
Just right around the
27 is
corner.
the magic number.
Anything else, Sam?
That should do it.
I had a couple things. First, I think the what? The 30 thing, Sam.
Laughing at
I think it would be cool to have Kuma take out Saturn. And I say this as a possibility only because the egghead incident is been this thing that Ken, I think, on our Discord was talking about it. Just this thing that's been looming over this event. The narrator continues to say, and today is the egghead incident. And I don't always take full stock in what Oda says is an incident, but this does feel like it's going to be earth-shattering. The fact that Saturn is here, we talk about Kuma dying, I subscribe to that, but the fact that Saturn is here and potentially in peril, that, you know, I think that he is at risk of potentially going. I don't know how, I don't know where. It could be Luffy, but I think Kuma putting some mortal blow to him is pretty cool. I love the last spread. It's fantastic. I was thinking it would be really cool to see Bonnie's age powers affect Saturn, considering we think he's either immortal or ageless. We'll see. I don't think
maybe that's why Oda wrote like Saturn
doesn't
having
affect
these
him.
these nullification powers somehow.
I think everything else I wanted to say has been said, and that's why I went last, so I didn't have to say anything. Plus, we talked about the manga for a really long time, so let's talk about the anime for a really long time. And I guess to do that, we should play our new anime recap theme. So let's listen to that. Sorry, I didn't mean to play that twice. Sam, go for it.
Have to come up with like a whole new cadence to go along with the song.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
Actually, did we want to start with the new opening first?
Yeah, I think we did. I have screen caps ready to go too. If you want to, you tell. Well, we should introduce the
Let's get it
segment,
out of the
Sam.
way. Let's just do it now.
Yeah.
This is the anime recap for episodes 1088 and 1089. I'm your host, Sam, and today with me we have none other than Ed.
Hello.
And joining us today, actually, let's or raise of hands. Who's actually like on for the anime this week? Is like
I meant to watch the episode,
I
but
watched that.
I've seen the opening.
I watched the oopening. I did.
okay.
It's the minimum requirement for today. I think.
I watched the
Joining
previous
us today,
episode
we have
and-
everybody who is here who has been on the podcast this whole time.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say.
Aha.
There we go.
No need to do the bit. So we're starting with the new opening, which is you could translate it as like just like ah by Kitadani Hiroshi. The Japanese is like asu.
I've seen Asu around, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna.
I prefer ah.
Yeah, that's how
I guess
I.
it's just
I-
like
I
it's just
explain
an exclamation of non-specific.
Sue the French champagnes.
The castle.
He wrote it out.
I like reading it in the yell that Tom from Tom and Jerry does whenever he gets like I don't know like
Oh my god.
a hammer on his foot.
And this is following up the last opening. This is another directed by Megumi Ishitani opening.
Yeah,
It good.
Mhm.
It good.
it's very good.
It could open. It could open very much.
Yeah, they don't. I would say they don't make them like this anymore, but they've never made them like this before.
Yeah. And it's short. Ah, man. Yeah, I gotta say, I don't think I got to. I forget if I got to talk about the last opening, but I'm so fucking glad that endings are short again. I mean, I'm sorry that openings are short again, and we have endings again.
Mhm.
It's like all is right with the world of the One Piece anime.
Mhm.
I saw somebody. I saw a good joke on Twitter that somebody said, like this new opening is like the stimulus check for One Piece fans.
Yeah.
Really good.
Hold on, I have to cut
Berry-
it.
how many berries is that?
I really laughed hard at that.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, you do have to credit that.
That's
That
really
is
funny.
that is Landegg. That's at Landigart.
Oh,
I
they're
love
great.
them.
They're great.
Yes,
I mean, where do you even start with this?
Yeah, that's a great question.
you could start with the
after, like-
beginning.
It's something completely different.
Zach, you said you had visuals.
Yeah, let me pull those up if it lets me. Oh yeah, cool. My Google Drive.
I think this is my new favorite. It's just so
Yeah, I agree. And let me see if
Well,
it
that's
goes
It's
in
my
the
favorite opening, but it's definitely up there.
I think it's like
Nope,
the visuals
wrong-
are just
wrong end.
the art style and the visuals are so fun, and the callbacks are so fun.
Good.
There we go.
Oh, something just
Okay.
like really touched my soul about the last one though. Like that one is in
It
a
was also
special
very
place in
good,
my
yeah.
heart right now.
This is a lot more upbeat.
Ed,
Mhm.
Ed,
Yeah.
you're on the wrong mic again.
Good like
Yeah.
lust for life kind of opening.
Yeah. Why? Oh wait, it's here, but I didn't put it in the thing. There it is.
Ta-da.
It says I'm on the Zoom now.
Now you sound good.
There you are.
Good.
You sound
Yeah, you
crisp.
sound fantastic. Yes, Sam, I don't know if you want to like, or should we just talk about like each? I took a lot of screen caps.
Are they in order?
They are in order. For the most part, unless I had to like go back, but for the most part, they're in order. This reminded like even the opening, kind of that movie 6 vibe of the aerial shot with the very
Yeah, that's the
like,
only other thing in One Piece that looks like this. Really.
with the
Well, 'cause if-
humongous choir going whoa.
I gotta say, I fucking love this Kitadani song. I had to shovel snow today. I was listening to it over and over again, and perfect. It's so JoJo-esque, which makes sense with Jam Project, but
JoJo-esque. I
I
say
thought it was
this is-
JoJo-esque.
This is One Piece-esque.
It could be two
Yeah.
things.
Oh, the JoJo themes were a lot more
Like,
hard rock, and especially initially.
Like at the end, I think that like that choiry thing that felt very like part 5, part 4, which I know is not even Jam Project, but whatever it is. My internet's deciding to go super slow. This is that the same font from the burger color spread? Because that's the first thing that popped into my head.
Yeah.
With
It looked
by the
like
way,
when Oda would draw the big bubbly logo.
Yeah.
by the way, if you want to follow along, and you're not on our YouTube page, following along, you could also just open the opening and just stop every 2 seconds, or not even because there's so much detail.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here.
I'll say from like an artist perspective, like I like the colors and just the simple, like the very simple lines, but then like having this like harsh outline. I love it so much.
Ugh.
I cannot express words how just like pleasing this is to look at, and it's like a style that I wish I could draw.
Yeah,
like,
it's got
Agreed.
honestly.
like deceptively simple, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like there's so many artists that I follow that can do this like beautiful simplistic style, but like just nail it when you come to like the shape, the form, and like the feeling, and that's what this entire opening feels like. to me.
Agreed.
Yeah, as an artist,
I love this
watched
one too. Yeah, go ahead.
I watched this and I'm like, uh-oh, is this gonna change the way I do things?
Yeah, like I can't tell you, like this has made me like want to revisit some of my like older One Piece drawings and be like, let me see if I could draw this better now.
There is not. I will say there is not one shot in this that I don't like. Actually, one, and then we'll talk about it. But that's being nitpicky. But yeah, God, I love all these little scenes with the One Piece logo. Then you
this is
get
great the like rotating platform.
yeah, with
Yeah.
the little
I
like almost the
I
Matryoshka
love
dolls.
that.
Steve, by the way, in your
I love
images,
that.
you called so fucking much of this intro. I feel like of the vibe. We'll
Well,
get
those
to
are less. I would say those are less Matryoshka dolls and more like
regular dolls.
like. Well, no,
They look like little
Mech.
like Polly Pocket.
Yeah.
yeah, Polly Pockets or I was gonna say pieces on a board game.
Yeah.
Like
I love that shot of Lilith like being like a little shyster to Shaka.
And then
Yeah.
who's
Like
who's
smugness.
who's that big guy again? What's his name? Because it's
Atlas.
Atlas?
Pythagoras.
no
Atlas is
Pythagoras
is a
is
girl.
the yeah I know.
Oh, Pythagoras is this. Yeah, it's that one. Okay.
Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
Pythagoras, and what like York is just leaning over him. Yeah, Ken wishes he was Pythagoras right about that.
Wow. Ken getting good and bad shout outs in the same episode.
Yeah, that's right. He had a good one, so you know he's got to get
bring it back.
Also, I didn't realize until just now they're all on top of his head.
I love
with the
this pose
apple.
though. Oh yeah, that's great. But oh god,
Oh, I didn't catch
That's-
that. Yeah, they're on.
Which
see,
pose?
like, is by JoJo S? Did you mean like by the vibe of the song, Zach?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because when I watch this opening, I get JoJo vibes because of how much
I
how many
agree with
callbacks
that,
it is
too.
to things in the
Yeah.
manga, like little Easter
Yeah.
eggs. Stuff.
That's very high
That-
praise for me too.
Yeah.
Anything JoJo-esque, I think, especially with openings, which it does super well.
I think Steve has it right there. Like for me, if you're calling it JoJo, I think it's like because JoJo will always give you like spoilers into the entire
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
or whatever when you're watching. Not spoilers, but like things that after you watch it, you're like start
You don't
picking up on.
realize
So,
when
like,
that's
Mhm.
a good opening. You don't realize it's a spoiler until you see what happens. Oh, Hattori, by the way, super menacing. Here's a Vegapunk licking the screen.
Now for
Great.
something completely
They make Vegapunk so genuinely cute in this shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, I love
it was words that I never thought that I
the
would hear.
Hattori mask here, the menacing mask.
didn't
Also,
see that.
Chef's kiss.
I love all these masks.
Yeah, the master of
Also-
floating.
See,
Space.
like this.
Wait
Weird.
until the next
This
one.
style is just. ugh.
This
Look at it,
is
I
I
can't.
fucking love this. This is so adorable. There are so many
This is going to be
Luffys.
great for the podcast only listeners.
No,
gotta
as I
say.
said, if you want to follow along, we'll try and describe what's going on,
It's
but
like,
just
no, I'm just gonna
pause
listen to
the
this on
opening.
Spotify.
everybody.
And this.
Just go watch
and
the
this,
opening. I mean,
and
I-
this. Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about.
Just why I watched the.
So we were
the
just
storyboard.
talking about. It's
There's
hard
many a
to.
Luffy.
It happens so quickly. These each are like nanoseconds, which is like part of the inspirational like aspect of this opening. I like cannot
and yet
believe
it's
it.
all readable.
Yeah.
As you can see, I took screen caps. Here's a picture of another Vegapunk licking the screen.
I just like how
I
Oh,
need
yeah,
that
all
man
this-
to put
this-
that
this whole
tongue
hologram
away.
Yeah,
sequence
it's a
really
hologram.
good.
Yeah.
For, like,
This
line
hologram
up
sequence
the
is
different
cool because
characters.
when you slow it down,
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
all.
we could talk about so here's Doll and the rest.
Hibari.
Sorry.
Helmepo.
Helmepo,
Those are-
whatever his name.
Just like how
This is my favorite screen cap I took just because of Buggy's pupils.
Yeah,
God,
crossroad
look at
kill. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Look at the way Crocodile.
But this is what's
Mihawk
amazing.
from There.
You could see
Yeah.
here Luffy leaving the scene, and then he shows up in the screen coming at them. I think is super cool, and he's holding the screen, like fourth walling it.
Yeah.
I like
So
how-
cool.
Buggies.
I like how Buggy looked
Transitioning into this.
He looked like Andros over there. He looked like a floating head with hands. But
This might be
I-
my favorite screen cap
colors.
of the. It's gorgeous. It like I love this in the manga, and this like blew me away tenfold.
This is a good example of how you can preserve One Piece's cartoony art style and also use crazy Sakuga bullshit.
Yes.
Which I think my
Yes,
big
agreed.
gripe with the Gear 5 stuff is that it's unreadable. Even though it's kind of, it's pretty cool and dynamic.
Ugh.
This is like, I think the black outline on everything really
this,
helps it.
yeah,
This, yeah, the black outline is like what I love the most because you have like the thin
Yeah.
lines where it looks like it's almost
color
like
holds.
there's
yeah.
no-
Speaking of JoJo, by the way,
yeah.
Steve, I love integrated credits like this. It's one of my favorite things. I don't know
My
why I
one-
like that.
But my one beef now is I can never get like a clean screen cap of this. Of this
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
They'll do
Maybe
credit list
the
versions
Yeah.
DVD
Yeah.
one will get it.
bonus feature.
I'll notice a lot of the background is lineless.
This
is my
where you
favorite
have the
shot.
Figure.
Oh yeah, I know.
the
why.
whole movie shot is what
Cody
we were
and
calling
the,
this.
Sorry.
the island,
this.
he's like, he's huge, so he's like rotating, and it like looks slow in the
It's
background.
amazing.
And
Yeah,
the
this
the
is
expression
Kobe
and,
on
Hibari.
Kobe and Hibari.
Yeah, it's Kobe and Hibari.
Mwah!
Yeah.
My wife.
Now this,
Yeah.
this is blink and you'll miss that this is the aged versions of Luffy, Jinbei, and Chopper that show up, which I did not
And also
realize.
Vegapunk's brains in the form of those gems.
Yeah, the gems I think are just Bonnie's power. They're the symbol. She's jewelry Bonnie. It fits.
Yeah, I think the thing
Who
with
is this
Vegapunk
giving-
was
Yeah, go ahead.
stars. I think that.
Oh, that's what
Yeah,
it
it
was.
was stars.
That looks like a.
What
I
was
think the
that?
gems generally. Sorry.
Can Steven say
who's-
that one more time?
Yeah, sorry. Steve.
He was referring to Vegapunk's brain, like his crystal stuff, but that was like stars. When we saw little baby Vegapunk,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
There's a
that was
star
early
here
in
on the
arc.
right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. That's. I think.
That might just be like the shines.
Anyway, who's giving Atlas a high five here? Is this? I
Me.
don't know who's.
yeah, me and
Is that
me.
Kuma? Like it looks like
No,
so
I
it
think
was-
it's
if it was-
Kuma.
If it was Kuma,
I want
Atlas
to
would have
talk about
gone
the next
away
screenshot.
somewhere.
This one.
Okay, but like, so this one I wanted to talk about too, because like, okay, so not only is like the heart pirates when they like transform into women, but like, it's deceptive because it also like there. My friend was saying that like we were distracted by like them being women because like, yes, but at the same time it's of the polar ting sinking.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was like, so we got distracted. We're like, yay. We're like, wait.
So
And then,
uh,
yeah, go ahead, Steve.
so Alex, how do you feel
I did not
about
guess that's
Prince
his
Guru
color.
being one of the Royal Tenenbaums?
It's official. It's official.
That
Yeah.
color palette, I
It's
don't.
it's Uzi all grown up.
I
just got that that's the
I think his
flower.
color scheme fucking rules.
I just got that that's the flower gun thing that Hibari uses. That's making all the
Yeah.
pirates turn
Yeah.
into happy flower people.
yeah.
What's really interesting about the members of Sword
Oh,
is their colors.
Sentomaro stuff.
It's a lot of
Yes.
reds and
Yeah.
yellows and greens, and I was really surprised. I don't know, like everyone looks like candy in this opening. They look like zebra striped gum
Yeah.
in this.
Well, that's so One Piece
Like,
too. Like that's
Fruit strap
perfect.
Fruit strap.
But it's like it's way more pastel in this opening, and I think that's Ishitani.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not complaining. I think it looks freaking beautiful.
like this shot where you have like the character and then you have the small little segment where each one like will transition. I love that one of
Yeah,
Kizaru.
what a great
But
Kizaru.
like it's like again like I
Okay.
words are
Oh,
failing me, but
Clearly.
it makes me want to draw. And
Yeah.
like that has been something that's been the
Yeah.
hardest thing for me in like the last like 6 to 8 months. I haven't been able to do anything. And so like finally seeing this, I'm just like, I'm back.
Yeah.
I feel like the need to
We
to
see
get-
S
No,
Shark
I'm-
with the green goo, I think we called it. And I love this falling
Yeah.
into. Yeah, I love how it falls into. Who is it? Do I have the screen cap for that? No, of course I don't.
No, you don't. It looked
Hancock,
like
I think.
Luffy with the goggles, but I couldn't tell who it was.
I think it was either Hank. Someone, the chat will let us know. This is Kizaru showing off his power.
So cute.
It is adorable.
Yeah, little
baby.
Chibi Sentomaru.
You're like,
Baby
"Oh,
Sentomaru."
Sentomaru."
And then but the crazy thing is then it hits the thing that hits Bonnie later on, that hits the side, the end, the what do you call it, the net, the thing that protects Egghead. This is Steve's, I think. I don't have that one in front of me, but
The color scheme is so similar.
similar, yeah.
Mm.
What is
I
it?
just realized that's the CP's
7,
CP
yeah, or
agents,
6, whatever.
What is this,
on the
Dark
other
City?
side.
By the way, this is no pun intended, perfect red herring.
By the way,
Like,
we're
really
talking
good.
about Chaka right now. Sorry. for-
Shaka,
Yes.
sorry, yeah.
We're not talking
Yes, when the walls were red.
Shaka when the
This,
walls
this
fall.
has
Yeah.
like vibes.
This is Seraphine,
with
yeah.
S snake, the head pat, and then like the way like. What's the next screenshot you have for her?
I
Yeah.
think this is supposed to be the traitor doing this, right? I'd like who you find out. I assume.
Like
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like the way it like cuts into like her like looking into the camera.
And here's the gems again that we were talking about.
Yeah, the anime like is really making like S snake
a thing out of that.
important.
These shots.
Okay, so now we're getting to the part where the Straw Hats change their outfits every nanosecond.
Yeah.
Which we'll go through. You guys could talk about just generally the scene if you want.
which like I love Dressrosa Luffy's outfits, but it's just such a really nice where you have the color palette from whatever that kind of like arc is, and then you have Luffy in every single different outfit that he's been
So
in.
cool.
Mhm.
It's such
Oh,
like
The
again like
Trum Island one
flashbacks.
being there is great.
These colors match up with like volumes.
What they're wearing, I think.
They might.
No.
Like, I feel like
No, it's
like,
what they're
the
wearing.
background's
It looks like what they're wearing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I guess.
I mean,
so.
I'm
Yeah.
colorblind. Wrong
Yeah,
person.
the-
This
Well,
was
the-
It's a
someone
palette
pointed out.
match, yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah, Afro Luffy is definitely not that volume cover because that's
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a red one. Someone needs to find out, but someone mentioned that when they're walking on the specific terrain, this is the Straw Hats, they
That's
change
what I was wondering.
outfits.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
that's what I was.
Yeah, because you can see like the middle one is
stop
Punk
Sorry.
Hazard
changing
and the
it,
front
Zach.
one's Dressrosa, where it's just like you have like Luffy wearing Dressrosa, but like the one
It's
in the
Punk
middle, because
Hazard.
Frankie's taking one step, is Punk
Yeah.
Hazard.
Yeah, like it feels like they're trying to like step around the usual problem of like the group shots have
Yeah.
to have like this generic outfit set,
hmm
or they have to reflect certain parts of the story, which maybe not all the like. Remember in Whole Cake Island when like half the crew in the opening would have their Whole Cake Island outfits, and then the other half
Yeah.
would just their generic time skip outfits.
I think this is more
But I
a looking
also
back
really-
kind of thing, though. Like the Bon
Well, yeah, I mean,
Voyage.
like that's. I mean, that's what like almost every like group shot generally is trying to evoke.
Mhm.
But if you think about Egghead as a whole, like a lot of it is like, I mean, like, we've just seen like flashbacks going back through all of like One Piece too. So it feels very fitting that the opening also reflects all these different
Yeah.
times. Like when they're on Whole Cake, Zoro is on, he's at one already,
Yeah,
like hanging
there
out
you
with
go.
Law.
Look here at Nami and Zoro looking straight at camera.
That's a no-no.
Let's look at the camera.
But Zach, that aerial shot of them walking, that
Yes.
is an homage to an old color spread, which Jungle P
Yes.
also animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Frankie's first color spread, I think, to walk more slowly.
Yeah.
I believe
I
so.
think you're
As a
right.
Straw Hat, I think that was his
Frankie's first as a Straw Hat, yeah.
Oh, Nami looks
Yeah.
good.
Aw.
We're gonna get some butt shots here. Wait,
Ass.
it's gonna come
What it
back.
did he wanted to draw more
There it
ass.
is.
now.
Yeah.
Um,
What's
I saw the
no,
I saw the
wait.
edit earlier. I saw an edit.
Wait, yeah, no, Sam, I think I know what you're talking
And
about.
I guess I just
Like-
kind of took. I just like. Oh, I guess that's how they drew him in the opening.
I literally, until this moment, I'm always being like, yeah, Luffy's not wearing pants underneath that.
So somebody
well,
did edit it,
either
but it's just
his
like
skin
a
tone
shot.
is either he has a weird skin tone under his. Yeah, I think
what's
I
Egghead, but not the
appreciate
butt
the
arc.
yellow.
So
it is. No, that's
It
why
is- it is
I
not ass.
I was
all about the ass.
I was forced to do it. So there's the one thing that I have a problem with is coming up here. Kid versus Shanks transforms into Law versus Blackbeard. This is such a fucking beautiful one.
See,
Amazing.
like I will also say like just the motion of this entire shot, like going
Yep.
from each
The
character
matching,
and just
yeah.
like it
Mhm.
it
Garpic, who's
Makes
on?
me
We're coming
insane.
there. Where is it? There's the one. S Hawk looks bizarre right there.
Well, he's huge.
Yeah,
He's
it's
supposed to be
just closer to
humanoid.
the
Well,
camera.
It's a smear.
it's just like it's
Can
an
anyone
animation,
admit
it's just,
that
like,
that one
back to,
looks
no.
wonky a little bit?
No, because you're not
No.
an animator,
Zach,
Zach.
go back to.
I
Trafalgar
don't actually
and
have an
Blackbeard.
I don't
Go back to
actually have
the-
an issue.
because like
So this looks a lot like this sequence, but this one in particular, because the line art is so fucking crisp, it looks a lot like Katsuya Terada art.
Oh, yeah.
Look him up.
Mhm.
Schmear.
It's just fucking. This is some good shit. Like I
I-
want to smoke a cigarette after
Agreed.
these images.
I agree.
Like there's that joke where like artists when they look at each other's art being like, I want to eat it. Like I want to eat this
Yeah.
open.
100%.
I think, yeah,
That's
me saying everyone looks like candy in this, I think we're onto something here. This is a
Mhm.
like pound for pound, I think this is the best looking opening.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy.
And Zach, I get what you're saying too, but like
this is
also,
me
I feel like
nitpicking.
it would
though.
when you're looking at the animation and kind of a transition between each fight. If they were to make the Seraphim Mihawk smaller, it would have just taken you out a little bit from just like the size of it. And because it's only a millisecond,
Well,
like you,
yeah, it gives the kind of the impression that like
she looked a little rough.
Lucci
the
versus
match
Luffy.
kind of gives the impression that like between the match cuts were almost like
Ugh.
rotating around like 180 degrees.
We got the
Yeah.
stuff with Sabo, and then
Sabo.
I am assuming this is Alabasta. with the news coups coming in about Cobra.
Oh yeah.
Because that
Remember
is
that
definitely
stuff.
the clock tower. We looked at that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. So I did not
Yeah.
see BB is in this
Yeah.
under
Oh, yeah.
the wing.
He's being like Mike
yeah.
But
Wazowski.
I
just
was
like-
happier that Wapple gets his face covered by Big News Morgans.
Yeah. Like I was like,
Morgan,
think,
I blame
is my
y'all for
love.
making me
my
like
love.
big news.
I love him.
So one, y'all suck because I love big news.
Me too. You know, it's just the right.
What's
It's
up,
just
love?
correct.
What's up, love?
I love he's lifting like
He's
the
so
one like
great.
finger feather, like he's like shh, like he's being sneaky about it.
Yeah.
It's more like, is he that or is he flipping you?
That's
off?
his rap
do you think
cover.
like maybe in a later like edition of the opening they might have like one where he like pulls his
Oh,
wig
he's
I
down?
was
the,
thinking that's a
the O'Hara
possibility.
library
And
book.
yeah, this is the O'Hara Library books.
Mhm.
This is Vegapunk and Dragon, who apparently have the same hands.
I was like trying to
Um,
remember who
Oh
that.
yeah.
Who that
Yeah.
You can see Vegapunk's ridiculous lower body over
Skinny
there on the
legs,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. And I forgot about the
Oh,
butterfly
that's great.
motif. This is wonderful.
I can't express the shine on the swords.
This
in
part's
that
also
one scene of
great.
Just like the,
Coming up. So,
Yeah,
so you got
this style. like, where it's
Sabo,
like,
Kid, Law, and Kobe.
Yeah, everybody's going through their
everyone's going through
their,
shit.
hard period.
Yeah.
but like again, like those particular scene where it's just the smoothest transition between
Mhm.
characters
With the
and it's,
music
like,
too, a little bit. Like it fits super well.
It's so good. Like look at Sabo. Like when you're looking at the Sabo and screenshots, where like you have like Sabo Kid and Law. Like you have these outfits that have so much detail. But they're
Simple.
simplified
Yeah,
in
it's really
such
cool.
like
a
they feel like
beautiful
almost like
way,
halfway
like-
between like Wano, One Piece, and like an Adventure Time or something.
Also, here's a question. So we look at laws. So go back to laws. Is this going to happen like the previous update where like he has this outfit and he was wearing a white shirt and then it was animated, had a yellow shirt, and the opening had to read.
No,
They might have to.
The anime, no.
So like,
I mean, the anime has already shown him.
Is he in a
his
white
outfit,
tank
and
top?
it's
He has a
white.
stain. He ate
Okay.
he ate a
because
bad
like
hot
all,
dog or something.
all of us been drawing him with like a yellow tank top, so I'm just like, okay.
No,
so is it
that's
confirmed?
too much. That's
Here,
too much.
Vivi and Marijoa, I assume.
Mhm.
Bonnie
And then Bonnie, yeah.
and
Oh,
go,
yeah, but that was
stepping in.
Waffle crashing through the
Yeah,
wall.
that's what I
Mhm.
assumed it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Yeah,
With you.
yeah. Oh my god, Bonnie stepping through the paw. Like an actual really nice looking generic Fishman Island outfit. Look here.
Ugh.
This might be my favorite part, which should not surprise anyone. It's the map looking part. It's just so fucking cool. I
have we
love it.
seen like in the manga? Have they shown like Egghead from
From
above?
above?
No.
Yes, yes, they
We've
have
seen,
the
like,
maps,
we've seen a
the
lot of,
little
like,
maps.
oh,
They do.
Because I guess the fact that it's a sun is pretty significant,
Mm.
right?
And
Oh,
Stephen Parker in the chat,
wait,
by the way,
wait.
mentioned that Ishitani
Yeah.
said that there's going to be some update in the opening next week. What could she have done wrong?
Ooh.
Lost tank
This
top.
is perfect.
It might be a character reveal that got grayed out or something.
And then
Yeah.
at the end, Usopp's like very confused about Luffy's dream, which is in this same episode. So, final thoughts on the opening from everyone all at once.
Banger.
I can eat it. I will consume
It's great.
it.
Yeah, it's cool. Like this and like with the Scott Pilgrim anime coming out recently. It's cool that we have like all these examples of like this super, again, deceptively simple looking art style that is like kind of being respected as this very like artisanal thing.
Mhm.
Is very, as you said, like it is very movie 6-esque with like
Yeah.
the simplicity type style, and I can't get enough of it. Like I know that the series won't look like that, but I wish it did.
I thought I was maybe
Maybe the
kinda
One Piece.
like maybe I was having recency biasy here, and maybe I was jumping the gun. But I think enough people were saying to me, it's like, I think this might be my favorite opening now. And
I don't know about that.
when I was watching it, I'm like, immediately I thought, well, maybe after one or two viewings, I was like, this is in top 3. You know, no question. For me, like I love We Are. I love Kokoro no Chizu.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
like
it's
does
awesome for me.
this classic and nostalgia outweigh
It's
the power?
it's the
the impressiveness of this.
it's the recency
How much
bias
we
versus
weigh
nostalgia, I guess is
But
the
also
question.
the song is like someone described it to me as like it feels like an
Pretty
uppercut.
good.
You know, it's just like it's got
I haven't let the song sink in as much for me as the visuals themselves. And I think with visuals, to me, this
Easy
is
number
getting up
one,
there
I
on
think, for
top.
me, the visuals. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I know like song, like if you listen to an album, like I will come back to you in like a month about the song after I hear it a bunch. And it's just like some of those times you're listening to album being this song's okay, and then like later on it's like your number one
Yeah.
on the list. So it's like if I have to range it between like again, I can't stress how much that like something like this where it gives you inspiration, it makes you want to get up, gives you energy, and just like with the visuals and the movement and everything like that, that's what makes it more top for me. Like disregarding like song again, it's yeah, as you said, like an uppercut, but to me it's just I want to keep this on a loop and just look at
Same.
it.
This might be my number one. Because I'm trying to take away the nostalgia element. Because like look, like Hikari, we are fight
You
together,
don't
all
have
of
to
those.
take up the
Yeah, but
nostalgia
why you don't have to do
element.
that?
Nobody's putting
No,
it
no,
into your head.
I
It's just
still
what is that nostalgia worth, really?
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth as much as how amazing this opening is, because this opening also has the nostalgia with it. We talked about it. It feels like, and I forgot who said this in our Discord, I think. It really feels like it encapsulates the connective tissue of One Piece. And we discussed it a little bit in the manga, but I love how, I think we all love how One Piece has become something so much more than just the Straw Hats. And in anything I've seen multimedia wise has it been connected like this. It's so vibrant and kinetic and just really jaw-dropping. Like I was expecting something cool because the anime has been so amazing lately in its output generally, and this I think blew me away. This might be one of my favorite anime openings, period. Not just One Piece openings. I'll give it time, but right now, 1 or 2, it's up there. I don't think it's going to be lower than that. For me,
I'm of the recency bias thing, but I do think it's really fucking dope.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
just like Megumi Ishitani as a visionaire.
She's amazing. Just
like
pure
I
and
don't
simple.
think I think we've only like it just feels like we're only scratching the surface of like how profound her talent is.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like this is another one too. Like as you said, like Zach, you took screenshots of like every few milliseconds, and
I missed a lot.
I feel like
too.
it's gonna be one that like, again, this thing is like there's just so much more that is in this that like you're gonna, I think, keep watching it and catch it, and then like if she is updating something, or if as the season progresses and like things are revealed, is it going to change? Are we going to see those small changes, like characters being revealed or what have you? And I think I love when openings do that, and they evolve as the season progresses.
Yeah,
I have a hard time imagining what more she can do because there's so much spoiler stuff in there. It's crazy.
And
how
there's
much info
just so much. There's so much stuff. It is so packed.
Dense. Yeah.
Dense. It is.
With Ishitani, I see a lot of people like saying, "Oh, thank God we have her in One Piece. Don't let her leave." She's gonna be an amazing animation
Let her
director.
do her own shit.
She's
Don't shackle her to One Piece.
She is gonna do her own shit, and we need to really enjoy this moment that we live in, where Ishitani is working on it. And I'm glad that Toei realizes her. I know they hear the fans talking about it as well, but her immense talent. And Oda even said, like, I forget which episode, this looks like a movie. This is unbelievable. In an author comment, like, let's count ourselves lucky here. And I am so excited to see the amazing stuff she does. Just like Hosoda in movie 6, was in his infancy at the time ish.
Shackle her
Sam.
to the One Piece and let her be the let her direct every episode.
With that too. I'm fine with that too. Sam,
Pay her. So
we should do the
her.
anime recaps.
We'll phrase it that way.
Yeah. Let the man recap.
Yeah, Sam, let the man recap.
I actually need to leave now.
Okay, it's Ed. Everyone say goodbye to Ed.
Yeah,
I knew that
everyone.
we were going to run long. Okay, bye, Ed.
I gotta go
Sam,
later.
Bye.
you want to do the anime recaps? Okay.
All right. This is the. Oh wait, we did that. Episode 1088, simply titled "Luffy's Dream."
Is this the
Not
shortest
only-
Toei animation title you've
It,
ever had?
oh, it
Yeah.
must be. There's at least like once or twice where they kept it to like one sentence, one line, but never like 2 words.
Right, right.
Mayumi Tanaka hardly had like any time to, and that's it. You know, I don't know what it was in Japanese.
Luffy no Yume, would that be it?
Yeah, no, I don't speak Japanese. Don't listen to Steven. I would know. Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
We open with Amazon Lily, and it's surprise. We're hanging out with Rayleigh and Shocky instead of finishing the fight that we left on the cliffhanger the week before. And Marigold and Sandersonia are there. We got a title card explaining how Shocky she's a former empress of Amazon Lily. So she was in the position either before, I guess, would she have been between Gloriosa and Hancock then?
We've discussed this, and I don't remember.
Unless she's secretly even older than Gloriosa.
Yeah, we don't know, but I think she's between. I think that was where we landed.
And Rayleigh is admitting that in his old age and in Blackbeard's current prime, he does not think he could win in a fight, which is big. So we flash back and we actually conclude where the episode before left off, and Blackbeard is basically bargaining with Hancock, like, "Oh, I you know me. I'm all about how much I love my crew, my friends, and you just turned them all to stone. So please unstone them, please, for me. Thank you very much." And then he turns to Kobe. He's like, "Oh, you, and I have to thank you too, because you really helped me out at the Rocky Port incident by defeating Wang Ji. That was where else does Wang Ji come up again? He was on the Rocks Pirates.
Rocks, yeah, he
Yeah.
was. We saw him, and he was in Thriller Bark as zombie, right? I think. No,
Well,
I'm thinking of someone
No,
else.
he wouldn't have been
that
at the
must,
Rocky Port
because-
incident then.
Yeah, sorry.
Captain John.
Think
was
of
at
Captain
Rocky
John.
Port.
Yeah, you're right.
And one of the other.
Good thing this isn't live, and people could correct me as we're talking.
But yeah, there's that whole world of big names that the side characters get into stories with off screen. Rayleigh steps in. So still in the fight. The way that this conflict wrapped up is Rayleigh wandered in and he conquers Haki all over the place. And
Gross.
back in the present, Rayleigh and company, they're talking about the Seraphim and they're talking about S-Snake. And like the opening, like there's this strange emphasis that the anime is giving S-Snake. Like they're really
Agreed.
This scene is it feels like a promo for an idol or something.
And the music was like the wistful childhood music that they always use.
She's just glaring at the viewer with her inhuman star-shaped eyes. So that wraps up as news is spreading of Captain Kobe's abduction at the hand of Blackbeard, and his fate is unknown. And we get our wanted poster eye catch, except this one is Buggy the Clown, which I did not expect. And then the second one is Gear 5 Luffy. We come back to this. We come back from commercials, and we have a scene of the revolutionaries talking about Sabo. We're learning now that the big news that they've been teasing us about Sabo this whole time was that Sabo supposedly killed King Cobra, Vivi's father. And Kuma is there on the island, and Dragon is talking to him, but not really getting much of an answer back. Suddenly, the phone rings to interrupt everyone talking about Sabo, and who is calling but Sabo. And he's like, "Guys, big news." Actually, that's not my thing. Huge news. And they're like, "What's up?" and then we cut back to the Straw Hats on the sailing on the Sunny, and Luffy is reacting to the newspaper about Sabo. He's like, "No, Sabo wouldn't do that. He wouldn't kill King Cobra. King Cobra's a good guy. Sabo's a good guy. There's no conceivable situation in which they would be on opposite sides of the conflict." And Luffy wants to turn around and go to Alabasta, and Zoro gets like pretty curt at him about this, and he's like, "Hey, remember the thing you said when Ace was in danger, and you said you'd prefer to let Ace deal with his own problems? Obviously, that is the solution you should have taken." Which is ironic because Ace did die. I think we remember laughing about that when the manga came out.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for like 500 episodes ago.
Yes. More than that.
And yeah, so we're getting the continuation of the like 3 swords, 4 swords joke, where like Luffy is it's like, "Oh, you're such a jerk, Zoro. You're like an Oni. You're like an Oni Gashima. Aha, got him." And like Nami calls him Green Kaido, and then Chopper with Green Mom.
That's the one.
And Sanji's like a shitty moss head. So Robin is now getting to re-explain the concept of the warlords disbanding and the resulting cross guild. Luffy is very incredulous about the whole Buggy being an emperor thing. He's like, "Yeah, it has to be a mistake." But us readers, we know the truth that it's definitely not a mistake. Robin,
kind of a mistake.
Robin's asking Luffy if he wants to hear about other big news that might be relevant to him, and Luffy's like, just if it's really important, you can tell me, but whatever, I don't care. And then Luffy, he kicks back and he relaxes. His mind is off Sabo now, it seems, and he just blurts out loud like, "Oh, my dream is," and then cuts away, and then we get this very strange. Very slow, like performance of "We Are" from Kijidani Hiroshi, which I like. I don't, I don't know if I think it sounds very good to my ears. Like he's just like, "Are you to no?" Like he's just like dragging every single syllable out as long as he can.
It's like singing the national anthem at a baseball game. You just have to stretch.
But everybody is like reacting to like this is the first time hearing Luffy's dream, and you know we're like, "Well, what do you mean? Isn't his dream being king of the pirates?" But no, apparently his dream is something else that being king of the pirates might help him do. And everyone's laughing. Everyone's like, "Oh, Luffy, that's ridiculous. That's great. It's so funny that you think that you could do that." Even
Except Robin.
Yeah, even your crew, even us Nakama, like who have seen you perform all these countless miracles, we think you've got this very lofty, childish goal of unspecified nature. And yeah, Luffy basically wraps the episode up by leaning back and hands behind his head. "That's what I want at the end of my dream. Dun, 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 to be continued." Now, want to talk about this new opening, guys? this great new opening from a very talented director.
There was a new opening?
Yeah. Oh my god, you guys see it? Like, bring it up right now.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Okay. 1089. This is the first episode of the year. This is the first episode of the Egghead arc. First episode moving forward with the slightly adjusted art direction. Where everything looks a little softer, a little nicer, a little gooier and cartoonier, as indicated by the opening, which goes quite hard. So the episode starts, and the episode's titled, it's 1089, Entering a New Chapter, Luffy and Sabo's Paths.
That's a toy title.
We pick it up. They're still talking about Luffy's dream. They're all like getting their little opinions and their jabs. And we transition with the sight of a news crew flying towards Marine HQ, where the Marine agents are eavesdropping on Morgans and Morgan's is in his flying teapot thing. He's going, oh, he's just excited about all the news. He's kind of re-explaining things for the audience, but just from his point of view, because it's like, oh, this is just juicy drama, TMZ, yada yada. And I love like as they're explaining, we're getting these really cool visuals, like the very bouncy like Cross Guild logo. It's kind of like lands in the same composition as the poster, but it's like the animation style is just like really bringing it. And we get like these various like diorama retellings of like Hancock and Blackbeard and what have you. We're back to Sabo on the phone, and he's getting very sweaty as he's explaining what he saw. Here's what I saw. And we get this like whole like scene of the 5 elders, and they're like saying like the phone people, the phone guys that we hired to tap on into everything. Hang up right now because we got adult stuff to talk about.
Put your fingers in your ears.
Yeah, put your fingers in your ears. Pretend you saw nothing. And we're getting like this crosscut with Emu in their little like just garden, whatever you would call that. Their garden.
They've been working in that garden for 1,000 years.
Lots of butterflies. Very very atmospheric. Very really leaves an impression. And lots of like big swelling music, and then for like the dramatic moments, the music just like hard cuts. But they're discussing about the Lulusia Kingdom, which is where Sabo is witnessing this act that Emu and the elders are committing on the island, where they just like bring down some sort of big weapon of whippy red laser beams that strikes the place and just like leaves a big cratering hole, not unlike the hole at the bottom of Ennis Lobby. And that brings us to new eye catches. So like the Wano poster thing was a temporary thing, it seems. We get egghead.
They were cool eye
ones,
catchers,
which are pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Straw Hats like going in for like a photo op together and like at the casino. The science casino,
the food casino.
So the B part of the episode is the crew sailing into like this very blizzardy area. Sanji looks like just extra fluffy for a stretch here. And like there's a scene of the crew like all working together and trying to furl the sails up so they don't get like completely blown away.
I saw why the Zosan fans were eating this week. Eating well.
Yeah, Zoro and Sanji bicker.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Which, to be fair, they've been separated a lot over the last decade.
And the island that they're approaching looks like just like a big giant bulb of water, and they give this kind of pseudo-sciencey explanation about like the different heat temperatures, kind of like a tornado, I suppose.
A lot like the Fishman Island thing with Nami's explanation. I don't remember all the specifics, but
and yeah, so Brooke thinks the bulb looks like a big afro, but they see somebody inside the water. They're like, "Oh, is that a mermaid?" Well, I guess we gotta get her out. So Zoro steps forward. He just cuts the whole thing. It's like a big giant like island-sized thing of water that Zoro just like slashes with an attack called Bird Dance. And even the crew are like, okay, that's a little extra.
That's Zoro.
We think 2 steps ahead of what we were doing here. And very cute animation of like Chopper getting like swept up in the wind and like flying away and spinning around.
I think someone mentioned Rustage's British accent version of that is almost unbeatable, but this was still very adorable.
And you know, Luffy's trying to catch him and doing a stretching. And yeah, so the quote unquote mermaid who's in the water is this little kid who comes flying out, very familiar child It is none other than Jewelry Bonnie, who at this point in time now has a bounty of 320 million. She doesn't seem to be with her crew. She's coming out of the seawater as a child. Why might that be?
I gotta say, for this part, it really saddened me, Steven, to see the super ugly English fonts that we keep criticizing in the manga. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what they had to adapt.
Can't blame us this time.
Nope.
And like the animation on like Bonnie, like she's like trying to like sign to the crew to like warn them of the danger coming ahead, and like her hair is like just getting this like trashed in the wind, and it just looks great. Looks really fantastic.
It looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, she's trying to warn them of a monster, of some sort of sea monster coming up on us. And we're like, huh? Like a sea king? And like we look, and there's this very kind of slow motion. There's a slow motion shot of the crew realizing that there is danger right beneath them, and the camera pulls out, and it's like we're seeing like right under the surface of the water. We're seeing this big giant shark that could easily just gulp the whole 1,000 Sunny up in one bite. And that is where they leave us hanging, to be continued.
Did we also want to talk about the ending? Other than I love the song. I don't know if there's much to say.
The song is "Dear Sunrise" by Maki Otsuki, who is the artist who did the original first ending, Memories. And it starts with kind of an
Similar.
homage to Memories,
Yeah.
and then it's like a clip show. But like
I
a clip
liked
show
it. It was
behind
effective.
new original scenes.
I like the effect they did for it, and it was really effective. It really makes you feel how long it's. I feel it's like a 25th anniversary ending.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's for the anime, and I
didn't
think it
mind
does
the
a
clip
really good
show.
job.
I didn't mind.
No,
the
I
clip.
liked it.
I
Yeah.
kind of like just because considering just like seeing how much the anime changed, just going off the opening and just saying like, oh yeah, this is what One Piece looked like in 2001.
Even recent Wano stuff. Yeah.
See, but then I see what it looked like in like 2014, and I'm like, oh, you don't have to.
Yeah, do we have to do that?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
nostalgic for that. I will say this clearly feels like it's a tribute to Memories. It's it's the Straw Hats looking out on the ocean, all of them. It's like, oh, it's Memories, but with animation, with a little more,
a little bit.
So I thought I got the vibes. The song even sounds pretty similar.
Yeah.
To Memories, and I love Memories. I think like as an ending visually, it's not compelling at all, but as a song, it's beautiful.
We're going back to the was it original anime trope of like the really sad ending?
Not sad, more like melancholy, kind of just
wistful.
Wistful. Thank you.
What was interesting is
you said it to
sorry, go ahead.
to that video of the cat with the starry eyes.
The previous ending though was so stellar in its animation. It was a weird to see it go back to a normal ending. I think maybe that was also just to celebrate the return of endings. Maybe that's why they put so much into it. But God, I love that ending. The Yamato one, I don't remember the name. The chili beans. I know.
They usually
Raised. That's what.
Back in the day, they would change endings more frequently than openings. So there's more chances for.
I think that's probably going to be the case here. I think we might go back to the original formula now that we're like reset here. The episodes themselves, I don't know if I have anything specific to say. I did we hear Emu's voice, or was it the elder talking the whole time?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
So it was the elder. There's Jupiter or whoever the hell it was.
Well, does Emu speak in the manga?
Yes.
Not for later. Yeah.
No. I think in this part they said that. I think the part the Lucia never existed in the first place. Oh, you might be right. That might be the elder. Anyway, we'll get there soon. We'll find out.
We're waiting. We're waiting to.
I thought it was here. I thought it was here, but it wasn't. The one thing I want to say, sorry, about the last episode, and then I'll end it. with what I have to say, at least. I think they did a much better job making the Lucia a real place with real people, and it made you feel a lot worse about the complete annihilation of it.
They Alderaan it. Sorry,
They didn't Alderaan it.
I get a chance to watch
Which
it.
Yeah, I don't know if they did that in the manga, if we see very much of the citizens, but they're ordinary One Piece citizens running around saying, "What's that in the sky?" And then they're all dead. Which is it is more emotionally effective, though, despite the way I just put that. Yeah, that's all I had to say.
Anyone else have general thoughts on these 2 episodes?
You guys want to talk about the opening?
Sounds like a
did
no.
think that the second episode, especially the second half, with all of the action and stuff, it was very. It felt like a film. It was animated with the same kind of vivacity and a dynamism that they do with exciting sequences in the One Piece films. So it definitely felt like an event in that sort of sense. I was very impressed with the way they did. Lots of smears, animation smears, fun stuff.
Love my smears.
Yeah, I thought the emu and the 5 elders scene was like that left quite the impression.
Yeah. It was good,
especially like while we're like watching Emu and we're like trying to like get a sense of like what that shape is even supposed to represent.
Yeah, they did like a turnaround, and it's like a little pencil. It looked like you're just turning.
More so than like previous appearances. Like it feels a little more clear, or it feels a little more like deliberate. Like whatever it is, it's like. The animators might know by this time that they've been drawing it.
Be funny if he had like Vegapunk proportions. It was just like a big head,
or like like something coming out of it. That's a goiter.
Super Oda.
It's a big goiter coming out, wart or something. Any other anime thoughts? Sorry to steal the. So instead of piece together, Steve, if you're all right with it, I don't know if you're able to. Share
screen.
Yeah, if you're not,
I don't know.
You could also send it to me if that's easier. But
there is a
or Donnie. Yeah, does it work for you? That share screen button? Okay. So we're gonna play the piece together music, and we're gonna pretend we're doing the piece together. But instead of taking your questions, I'm sorry, we'll do the. It's late, as people could see wherever their clock happens to be.
Zach's like, I gotta play all the music.
That's true. And here's the next one.
I didn't know we turned into such a jazz club here.
This is the piece together segment where we take Steve's drawings. We're going to go through episode titles, so at least we'll do something. Should I go through the titles before we share your screen here?
Sure.
Steve? So you could get all set up, and I'll put it up after. I have Aesop, not Aesop. Aesop. You're the man now, dog. Play that funky music. Upstairs Science College, Bali, Stabbed Through the Heart, A Triumph, which is a serious Steve one, Stuck the Landing, also, The Sun is the Moon, Sam, Gurgling for Meat, that was an Ed, a series of nonsense. It's more about us, I feel like. Shot Through the Head, Kuma's Beans, and Dr. Venturepunk. So I'm going to give it to Steve here.
Okay.
Let's see what Steve has sketched.
I apologize. That's at it's an angle there.
Angle. How dare you? Wait.
How dare you have it off center?
Let me see if this. No, that's gonna.
I've been back. Okay,
there, Donnie.
I'm back at work again, and I'm getting my Storyboard Pro and my Clip Studio Paint hotkeys all mixed up. Okay.
Wait, can I just want to see? Oh no, I want to see if I could just make yours super big, and I don't think that's possible.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just think the most. I'm just distracted by Alex fading in and out of.
Him appearing and
That
being
has
sundered
been
and
distracting
unsundered.
the shit out of me. Can you move the sketch up slightly, and I think we'll be perfect, or the center of it? Yeah, they're perfect.
Okay,
All right, let's see what we got.
this one's a freebie.
This one.
That's the one. That's the one.
800
it.
episodes. So.
It marks the occasion.
Wait, so if
beautifully.
Usopp is Aesop, what does that make his father? Yasop?
Yes.
Slay
Yes.
Sop.
Yes. Up.
Yes.
Want to throw a giant tomato at it.
Yeah, no, yeah, stop.
All right,
We can move on.
let's see what the hell we got into tonight. But this one, I don't know. I think it was like there was some sort of some Apple Steve Jobs reference made.
Oh
There was
yeah.
something.
I just
Oh yeah. There was. It was the what was it? There's an app for that, but there's a something for that. I don't remember.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah, the paw is like the
No,
logo.
there's a science for that or something. Yeah, I like it.
Here's the serious one, which is
Oh,
kind of
wow.
it's the manga, but
Oof, but that's
There.
good. That's good. That's a good serious one.
mhm.
Also, I wanted to point out too. I forgot to put it in the chapter too. Like the youngest version of Kuma and the most recent one, they're all running it. Like they're both standing up too.
I still think the two younger ones are Steve, the most Steve. I'll also say if you want to see these normally every week, they're on patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. We post the sketches every week.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I drew these like hours ago, so I don't even remember what I drew anymore. All right, here's the next one.
Tell me about it.
And if you weren't aware, this is an homage.
Yes.
To I'll like copy and paste it real quick, but it's an
Is that
homage to
I mean,
what?
everybody knows it.
Yeah.
You should know
In
it.
case people don't know, I don't know. They're not freaks like us, so yeah, it's an homage to that. So
I think people got that actually in the chat. So
okay, I'm just making sure. I don't know.
no, I
And the
just noticed.
next one.
Yeah, this one.
Making biscuits.
This is the
Oh
one.
my god. Thank you, Alex.
I haven't even been paying attention to the chat. Okay. And
Someone
then
suggested Kunya for a title. I don't know.
okay, and then the last one. Oh yeah, this was the bucking bronco.
Oh yeah.
Which
Ooh.
probably won't get it, but I just really like
That's
the
fun.
the
That's good.
Charlos. I just-
Looks like Homer Simpson.
Very good.
no, Kuma,
Mr.
no.
I mean, he's a bear.
Yeah.
Kuma making biscuits is my favorite.
I like the Kuma pause and the serious one are the two I'm torn between. I don't know if the chat
Too many
has opinions.
serious ones. This flashback. I love Steve's
It's a
serious.
serious flashback.
All of the flashback is serious.
I adored this one just because of
It's really nice. This is like
Also, straight up, if I do this one, the episode's not coming out early tomorrow. I'm gonna fucking say that.
oh, then let's do the easy one.
Biscuits or Aesop.
No, it's
Those are my-
fine. We don't have to.
ass up.
I don't care. I don't care if this one comes out early because it's out. Like people are watching it now.
Yeah.
That's true.
So if people wanna, so if you want to take your time
Yeah,
with
but some
something, I
people
don't.
be like,
I'm
"Well,
not as
I
annoying.
didn't know there was a stream, so
Well, it's still they could still listen to this after. It's still going to be available.
I'm torn between the serious one just because I love.
All our
This is
fans are
the
going to say
serious
this
one.
one. All the fans are just going to say this one. Oh my god, we can't call it. We can't do that one for lots of reasons. I like how I'm not on screen, but I'm the one rubbing my eyes and just being like, I'm between Kuma's beans and the serious one. That's my vote. I don't know if anyone else has a vote.
okay, let's go down to it.
Those are the two that I'm between as well.
Okay.
I'm not
Steven.
Just
Yeah, I like the serious one and the making biscuits one.
sounded like Alex's.
My
That was
only
Alex,
like
biscuits.
the one thing with the biscuits one is like, oh, it's like Because I guess where they make biscuits, they make it on like a blanket, a comforter, and just like
as a non-cat owner,
how does that read?
As a non-cat owner, this one
And-
makes the least sense. I'll just say
You're
that.
a dog person.
Let's go.
so you're-
Also, like making biscuits, it's such a hard visual. It's a feeling. You got.
It's a hard thing to
Yeah.
translate.
I
to,
I mean, I
kinda
know
like-
what it is, but it's the most ephemeral.
You got to be
like,
under a blanket, and then the cat decides to make biscuits, and then it's like sprinkles. No, don't use your nails. Oh. I don't mind doing the serious one. It'll just take some time, and I need a break.
Yeah.
that's warranted. But again, I don't think if anyone else here has an issue with it, I think
I will
this
draw
is
this one.
deserving.
I will draw this one.
Making
it's
biscuits
800
on Saturn
episodes.
space.
It's 800 episodes. We should
Yeah.
we could call it a triumph, stick the landing.
Oh yeah,
Stuck the landing, or a series of nonsense is also perfectly fine, because that was a play off of when Sam, I think, said nonsense instead of anyway, nuisance. A series of nonsense. Well, it's a series of nuisances. No, nonsense was the misread, and nuisances is the actual. We could do that too, which I think is also fitting for our 800th episode. We are a series of nuisances,
we are a
right?
series of nuisances. Yeah, we keep
Yeah.
bothering people for interviews and shit.
I think you're talking about me,
We are.
Which one are you going with?
the serious one.
Oh well, you should put all 4 hosts' faces on Kuma instead.
I don't
and
hate
that's
it.
a series of nuisances.
No, they'd all be
Yeah.
Steve. Let's be honest. It's
Well,
Kuma, so they'd all be Steve.
Alex would be
Steve is the
the
smallest one, yeah.
the little kid Kuma, because you're still the smallest, Chico.
I am. It's true.
We're gonna do the round off. Let's get a preview of what the ending theme sounds like.
Okay.
Is that a short
This-
version? We're here to-
That's the short version. Going into the long version. This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 800 for January 7th, 2024. Remember, if you want to see alternate art, alternate images, those are the same thing, alternate titles, you can check that out, patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. We have a lot of cool stuff. Maybe I'm playing Ace Attorney, Steve. It's possible that I do that.
What?
I'm gonna say your Let's Play channel may have inspired me, and also other people saying I wouldn't be annoying about it somehow.
Are you gonna play it on your Switch?
Yeah, I just
We'll
don't know how to
help,
hook
we'll
it up,
help.
so I would need some real.
Okay.
But I
mean,
would want to
guess
do it with
could
you,
play-
Steve, and Sam, and the folks here.
I
So
would love to be there if I can.
we should do it at a time when we're all.
Maybe I
yeah.
shouldn't be there though, because I'll be insistent. I'm like, no, you got to play with the original sprites.
I'm fine doing that. So is the original sprite version not on the Switch at all?
No, I think for you
I got
playing the
Ace Attorney on
remaster
my
is
iPad.
fine, but
If I could play it remotely on your iPad, Brodsky.
Sorry, I'm sure most of you are like, please just let us free. But it's a conversation for outside here. But wow, Zach playing Ace Attorney. Wow, that only took 15 years. Just about as or about as long as this podcast has been going.
This year, we're celebrating the 15th anniversary of the One Piece Podcast with cool stuff, including, as you heard, new music, new art. Please check out the album art and a lot more on Patreon. We have a super premium tier for people who have more money than us. Could donate. I think that's how Hard Drive put it, since they have a Patreon now. They're the higher one. It's like, congratulations, you have more money than us. You could get merch with that stuff. And importantly, below, we are raising money for the Trevor Project. Please throw in a couple bucks if you haven't. This
You like the
campaign,
show?
this fundraiser.
Yeah, if you liked
What?
what we
Yeah.
did here.
Yeah. Support us, support the Trevor Project. This fundraiser will remain open, so if you're watching this not live, you could still do that. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff coming this year that I can't talk about, or that I don't have time to talk about because we've been talking forever. So I'm going to start first. Steven, where could people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Stephen Paul dot whatever it is, social B Sky. You know how it works if you're on Blue Sky. That's where I am.
Brodsky.
Sadly, it's still on Twitter. We'll be there till it dies at double underscore the number 0 underscore snake.
It's not a double underscore.
When it dies with me.
Yeah.
It's double the
Double
word
or
double
double?
underscore 0 underscore
Okay.
snake. And then everywhere else at Oive Brodsky.
I look forward to your opening 26 or whatever the inspired art. You have to really say Sam, are you there?
It's gonna happen.
You can find Sam at Lucky Chainsaw. Generally,
And in bed, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure he's asleep right now. Alex, where can people find you?
Find me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Dude Exclamation. Also, Weeb Simpsons on both Blue Sky and Twitter. I'll get around to putting most of the rest of Weeb Simpsons on Blue Sky when I feel like it. And I'll be at MagFest in a few weeks, 2 weeks, less than that.
Alex, I'll see you there.
Oh
I'm
fuck
gonna be
yeah,
there.
that's great. And if you're at MagFest, come and see Super Art Fight Saturday night. I believe it's at 8 or 6 to 8 or something like that. It's in the program. I'll be doing Super Art Fight there. It'll be a lot of fun. Come check it out. And yeah, that's it.
Steve.
SteveYurko.com. Social media at Steve Yurko. 4 Kids Flashback, our sister podcast. Listen to me on that with Tara Sands. Check me out on YouTube on ProZD Plays Games with ProZD.
It's great. And now do I need to stop watching it because I'll get spoiled? Maybe. Okay.
Your call, man. Your call. But also, thank you for bringing that back up again, because I think they don't get enough plugs. And Donnie mentioned the chat again. I want to say our Twitch channel. You might be watching this on there. But they're streaming games weekly over there. That's Donnie, Joe, Dan, and some others too. Are on there, weekly, different days of the week, playing a bunch of different games. Please go check them out.
Yeah. Dan and Donnie, particularly with their D&D. My name's Zach. You can find me. Well, you can't find me on Twitter anymore. I'm officially gone. I'm free. I have been liberated. You can find me at zach.onepiecePodcast.com on Blue Sky. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, wherever you get your social media, Instagram, One Piece Podcast, Patreon, One Piece Podcast. Or you could call us at our phone number, which is 347-497-MAJI.
Maji.
That's 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, theories, or why Sam was wrong about how the moon works. Thank you all so much for coming on the show. Sorry we took so long. Let's play our new ending theme right now.